What's up, everybody? Welcome to Call to Action Live this Sunday evening. I warn you, this might be a long episode. We've got a lot to talk about. This was a jam-packed week, but I'm excited to do so. And joining me this fantastic Sunday night, to my right, is the lovely, talented Alex. How are you doing?
I got my claw,
Yeah.
so I'm set. I'm in life blend, so
Perfect. You are ready to go. And down below us, we have the PLD. Paul, how are you doing?
Well, I'm out of Jameson, so that's a very sad thing for me. So I had to go dive deep into my sweet drinks for a barbecue, and I'm actually having a Mike's Black Cherry Lemonade.
Yum!
I'm going with. It's kind of close.
I got
one. So we're good to go, though.
Perfect. We all got our alcohol. We're ready to go because we're going to need it because we got a lot to talk about. So we need to get all loose and ready to talk about it. I feel like we should just dive in, I guess. Let me pull up the first match we're going to talk about.
I'm a little scared to go into this one. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot going on this past week and upcoming weeks. I'm a little intimidated.
This week has been crazy. Okay, I have to admit, as a Schmodown fan, this week has been awesome. As a person who has to summarize every single match that happened this week and write it down so we can talk about it, this was not a fun week. It took me 4.5 hours today, but worth it. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
So the first match we're going to talk about is Alba versus Warfather. Oh my gosh. Okay, so back to when we were speculating about this. I don't even remember who I said I thought was going to win. I think I said Alba. But man, I still did not expect that match to go the way that did.
Real quick. Yeah, I can bet. I bet on that one, Eric. That's about a nice thing for you as well.
That's very true.
We need a week off.
That match went extremely not like I thought it was going to be honest with you.
Yes, it was one of those matches where I was really genuinely surprised on both ends. I mean, Greg Alba, I was very impressed with his IG debut. Obviously, so rookie to Schmodown in general. When it comes to IG, obviously, it's arguably one of the most difficult leagues to be a part of, and to be involved as a rookie in today's and
IG,
this season,
right?
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're just going to do a quick breakdown of each of these matches because we'd have so many of them to talk about. But by the end of round one, we had Alban lead 8-5. So he already had a pretty good head start starting round one. And then round two, he got to pick, he got MCU, which apparently is a really good streak because he did fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And then Warfather got DCEU, which I am a big DCU fan. I didn't know a lot of those questions, to be perfectly honest.
They were a little difficult. That's true.
Yeah. I
was surprised at how much out of the gate Alba went. Then I was a little even just surprised at Warfather. Kind of seemed to stumble in the first round a little bit. And he missed a couple of pretty much gimmies in a way that you're not supposed to miss in this league. That's for sure. But I expected it to be a lot closer. I don't know what it was. I'm not sure if he was just off his game or if Alba was just on his game. It was just a very weird match throughout for me.
Or maybe Warfather was just thrown in quite spontaneously out of sheer necessity. Mm-hmm. Even though he was just like, I don't want to do it, but I got it. I need someone, and I do. Does anyone kind of know IG? Anyone, maybe, kinda. And Warfather's just like, I don't know. I know who directed Doctor Strange, right?
Well, he acts like an IG player. He's got the big hand, big hammer.
Just because you act like an IG player, it doesn't mean you are an IG player. I mean, do we need to talk about Kalinowski? Kalinowski does not quote unquote look or act like the stereotypical IG competitor, but now obviously
sure he does. Kalinowski, he's Team Kalinowski, looks just like Green Lantern, so he looks just like an IG guy.
Yeah, he's also yeah. I would love to see him as Hal Jordan. I would love to see that. But I mentioned, the IG competitors right now are definitely more intense. The digs are deeper. In DC in particular, though, because there's so few movies, there's literally less than 10 DCEU movies overall, I believe, right? I could be wrong, but
no, you're right.
I think you're right.
But because there's a lot fewer movies, the digs are a little bit deeper. What is a 2-pointer for IG? I mean, especially in that category, is like a 3-pointer in the third round, essentially, for in other categories. So.
I will say the Warfather did win me over still. He's one of those guys that his character is worth watching a match, even if the match doesn't end up being competitive. He's still fun to watch. He's a funny guy, so I like that aspect of it.
Oh, I love him.
I love Warfather. He's so funny and sweet, and he's so great.
He seems so genuine when he reacts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, when he won his first singles match a while ago, he seemed like genuinely surprised that he won. He was like, I'm just excited to be here, man. And I was just like,
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah.
I love both these competitors so much. But man, KO 17-6. That was it was pretty brutal to watch. Like I said, they're sweet, they're funny, entertaining. I adore both of them. The whole match itself was really fun to watch, but also it kind of hurt my stomach a little bit. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not playing around. I respect that, you know.
I think we might have seen the last of the Warfather this year, I think, maybe.
Yeah, I think at least this year, probably. Maybe next year, maybe with just a better manager player team up that works together, get him some training going and stuff like that. Maybe he might come dominate next year, but I think his season's over.
Maybe he just needs some time. You need some time to study up and maybe get the game level going on. I mean, he might have a base knowledge. He seems to know his way around things. He's just, you know, we can see people improve.
And not to mention, he's definitely within. I don't want to say he's with an inferior manager right now, but at the same time, he definitely has, you know, if he has like the right leadership, I feel like I can definitely see him flourishing very effectively. Sometimes it just takes that right person that you click with and it's just going to work.
It is possible, depending on how many people per like faction get it though, but I would think that he'd be pretty further down the list, I think, at that point.
Yeah, lower priority for sure.
I mean, I don't know, like 2 per faction, 4 per faction, depending on
how
many.
Who's in his faction though, realistically?
Well,
I mean, then the Droogs, like, can we pull that up by chance?
Do I have that still on here? I might still have that on.
Like the list?
I might still have that here.
Maybe.
I'll look it up.
Maybe.
I'll look it up real quick.
Well, while Paul does that.
Anyway, okay. But regardless, we should probably have that on hand at all times. So I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's been a long week, guys. It's been a long week.
It's been a long week.
No, I mean, like, that's something I can honestly, I can just add, you know, for fun.
Okay. All right, here we go. I got it. In the Burning Druids right now, we got Alonzo Duralde, Whitney Seibold, Eric Warfather, Rebecca McKendry, Bonnie Somerville, Hannah Knapsack, the Hurricane, JTE, and Scott Mance.
Yeah, he's not playing.
Yeah, he's not playing singles.
Yeah,
I think there'll be enough people in there that
there's plenty.
Yeah, I say that with love. It's not going to happen. I would love to see him play potentially in the teams. That'd be really cool if he was part of a Droog's new team. I don't think that's going to happen either, realistically, right now. But he is going to be. Well, actually, since he did win his singles match, I think he is going to be in another singles match in the near future, I imagine.
Good.
I mean, he's technically at 1-1 in singles, isn't he?
He beat Claudia Dolph. Yeah, he did beat
Claudia
Dolph.
So he would have to play another singles competitor. So
yeah. I have to see. I'd have to see. So he might get a shot here. We'll have to see. Is that's a new dance move? I kind of like that.
That was me at prom. Hey guys.
I was drunk out of the corner bar at 3 a.m.
Do you think I'm sexy? Da, 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 da.
You sound just like Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
I'm here for this.
It's like the new dance move, man.
We're just tuning in now. Like, what the fuck is going on?
It's the new dance move, man. Just get in with it. I'm sorry. I apologize, guys. I'm off my rocker. I'm tired.
I
It's
don't
been a
know.
long day. I
I don't know.
apologize.
You're welcome, Chris. You're welcome.
Anyway, we should probably move on to get to that.
Yeah, we probably need to move on to the next match. I guess next we will probably cover Barbarian versus Slavic, which was another match that was very entertaining. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. Barbarian is just so impressive. Such a great guy. I love Craig. He's awesome. He's so good with his character and Elvis and everything like that. Slavic's awesome as well. Just such a great match.
Yeah.
It was definitely a good match. I will find it. I really wanted to see this. I really wanted to see this match because Craig had such an amazing debut as singles. Seen him in a lot of the video Drew things. He never seems to miss a lot of things. So I really want to see what he had to do in the IG. And I will say I wasn't disappointed, but I was hoping to see a big him versus Parker at some point. I think Parker wins now. Like my initial thing is I think Barbarian could give him a run, but I think now Parker wins. That's my first gut after this performance. He was good. He was actually great, but he's not. I don't think he's quite at that level. He'll be like right underneath.
So yeah, and I think Parker's unstoppable. So I don't really think it mattered how great Barbarian was because I think Parker's made the whole thing.
See, Lucas, when you start listening, that's what you're listening to me. You truly hear me.
I would just say about Craig. I think he's a fantastic competitor. He's one of those competitors that is so well-rounded. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he's the next Kalinowski.
No, he couldn't. He could absolutely be three.
I 100% say that because not only he's clearly he has like a good solid core knowledge when it comes to IG. I don't think he's amazing yet, but it's clearly he's started working and he's actively training and studying for it. So it's definitely a work in progress. And he has some really great IG competitors in his wheelhouse to really help back him out.
Absolutely.
And clearly, whatever he's doing study-wise, it's working.
Well, he has base knowledge to begin with. So if you have base knowledge, that's the important thing as far as you can see. I'd study all you want. If you don't have the base knowledge, it's going to take you forever. I think he has enough base knowledge that, this is a long shot here, but if we're ever talking about people who could possibly be a 4-belt person, like all 4 divisions, he's the kind of guy I would say has the potential to do so. He'd have to study his ass off. He'd really have to study his ass off at Star Wars, possibly. But I think he's one of the guys I would put on that short list to be a potential 4 division champion.
I find that impossible to achieve, but that's a whole other conversation. It really is.
It is very
That's
tough.
a whole conversation right there. Who could potentially be the first? We're going to be talking later today about how intense. About some of the points that Scrimshaw made in his thing is that it's not so much about how much you know. It's not about you versus the knowledge. It's about you versus the question and the technical aspect of the question. What is a specific question that's being asked versus like what you're like versus like the over the scene, what's going on or whatever it may be. Because obviously they all know the movies backwards and forwards. They know every single line and everything, but it's the technical. What is the answer behind the technical question that they're asking? That seems to be one really defeating the competitors. If you're getting it wrong, it's because you misunderstood the question, not because not because your knowledge is incorrect. So, I feel like that. I feel like it's impossible to do that, to be involved in all 3. All 4. Like,
well, I think it's the thing you gotta do. You gotta hit one. You have to hit one at a time. I think he's already shown already. He's only had one match.
You mean separately?
Yeah, at least have a champion, not necessarily be at 4 at the same time. I'm saying.
I thought you meant simultaneously.
That's totally different.
That's what I was picturing, and I was like, oh,
no.
What is the schedule for these people?
No, that'd be. I'm sorry.
Are they like a Rachel Cushing or what's going on?
Maybe Smets. Knowing how hard Smets challenge studies.
But the dude is not confirming whether or not he wants to be in teams or singles.
Yeah,
let alone Star Wars. So
he will. I think he will though eventually.
I think so too. It's a matter of time. I think teams would probably be his ease way in.
Oh yeah, find yourself a good partner and boom.
The best combination of combination of players for a team is one. That's a little more focused on IG. A good IG player, not a great IG player, but a really solid IG player, and a great singles player.
Yeah.
So that's like the best combo.
Absolutely. So.
All right. Well, at the end of round 1, they were Barbarian 9, Havoc 7, and then round 2 happened, and Barbarian spun MCU, and Havoc got opponent's choice. And this was showing where I think Gucci's showing what he does as a manager, because even Barbarian was like, hey, we talked about this, we studied the tape, we know, like, and it was just like not even a question. So Gucci was doing his thing. He's been doing his manager thing.
I am more and more sold on Gucci being a lot better than people think he is. I mean, I've always thought Gucci was good, but I always like kind of was like, I don't know, I don't know what's going on. But just seems more and more, he knows what he has. He knows who to listen to on his team. He knows what to, like, he knows how to talk to people, generally speaking, unless, except for the communications issues early in the year, I get it. But as far as individuals go, as far as the match goes, he doesn't know the questions, but he knows how to make you feel good. He knows how to work things the right way. Because everybody I've talked to in that faction have always said the same thing, that he is great to talk to, great to get you to settle down, and great to be a sounding board with. I think he's got a lot more than we.
Does that include Cody Hall or Emily Rose Jacobson?
Oh, Cody Hall hasn't played yet, so I don't know about that.
I know, but he's already said, I don't even know if the dude's going to play. I don't know if I want him to play. His words, not mine.
You know what?
So,
you know what? When you play 5, when you have 5 studs like that, you concentrate on your 5 studs.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that he wants to focus on his 5 studs and not
6
some of
studs,
his other.
actually. 6 studs.
Yeah. So he's going to concentrate on 6 studs, and he's not going to talk about he's not going to focus on his other competitors at all.
Yep. And that's why he's on top of the division, though.
That's fine. I would just feel bad for any baby rookie going into his faction.
Well, that's a different
Sabrina,
story.
for example, Sabrina.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. We'll have to see how she might play more, though, too.
But here's the thing, though. Dagny also knows when to delegate. So, like, yeah, maybe he is not training Sabrina, something like that, but he's got Barbarian who can help her, like that. There's other people in the group that can help him. So, like, you focus on, as Paul put it, your studs, and then delegate helping and training down to newer competitors from those people when they have extra time. So it's like, that's being a manager.
Just knowing how to use what you got.
That sounds like you're really focusing on your core few and having them manage other people.
That's what it takes. If
that just sucks. It really does.
I disagree.
I
agree. I think he's a great manager. Obviously, he's incredibly talented, and it shows. You know, I just know that if I were a rookie going in with him, I don't know if I would pick him. I would want someone that's going to be able to give me much more attention. Someone's going to give me much more direct hands-on experience and mentorship versus someone that's going to direct a player.
So you want somebody who knows what they're doing, has a great studying habits, how to help you study and everything else. So someone like a Ben Bateman.
Yeah.
Ben Bateman's not a manager.
Doesn't
exactly.
Matter. Doesn't matter.
My point is, though, Dagnino knows his strengths.
If he didn't have Bateman in his wheelhouse, this would be a completely.
But he does, because he plans it out.
You can't argue that until it's not in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Bateman and Roca and Merle, to me, they're more than, they seem more like the managers than anything.
That's why you use what you got.
There shouldn't have to be 3 or 6 managers on deck. They are, though. It sounds like they are. If they're training and mentoring others, they are managing to a certain extent.
Okay, so I want to use this example. Like, okay, Roxy and Dagnino, they're not playing, they're active players and things like that. Do you really want them training people on gameplay stuff, like actual like stuff that being a competitor you would know more about as opposed to just managing? I feel it's smarter to have someone who is in the game constantly, lives it, breathes it, that is their thing, teaching me as a newbie how to do it, as opposed to somebody who casually maybe dabbled in the game but only is really managed. I feel like that's a way more solid strategy for a rookie.
And if that's the case, in that case, Winston or Coy are better managers. I mean, because Dagnino has no direct, because Gucci has no direct playing experience outside of the first and second season. You know, Vincent is an amazing manager. He is, absolutely, but that's because he's able to direct his other competitors to be managers on his behalf, and he's able to direct his competitors to be his mentors for his team. And that's definitely one aspect of training I feel like you need to be efficient in doing. But again, if you have that ability, have those people in your wheelhouse, that's totally fine. But if you don't have those core few, you're screwed. And he is very lucky that Roca and Merle and Bateman like being in his corner as much as he did, because if they didn't, they'd be screwed right now. They would be actively going against him.
You don't know that, but I'm saying you're arguing a fallacy at this point, because you're arguing that without them he couldn't do it.
I don't think he could.
But you don't know that though, because we don't know that. So until he's shown that, you can't really say he can't. I mean, he's been 3-time manager the year before this. This is the first time he's had all 4. Like 2 years ago, he didn't have all 4. He just had the Patriots. And he
wasn't that great of a manager. He was
they won 11 straight. You can't.
Yeah, he was also one of the only managers at the time.
You can't
he was one of 2 or 3 managers.
You can't argue results.
We can't. No, we can't argue. Those are completely different circumstances. That's like arguing baseball players from 1935 versus baseball players from today. Those are completely different circumstances. Why would we compare the two?
And Gucci picked Barbarian and Dimalanta with his next 2 picks after holding the 4.
Because someone told him to.
Smart guy, listening to his team, listening to people.
Yeah. But also, I want to look at all the managers. That's like, okay, all of them. But Kate, I love Kate. I think she's a good manager and stuff like that. She isn't training her people on knowledge like that because she doesn't play at all.
You don't know that though. But from what I've heard, she is directly working with them and training with them actively all the time.
Who heard it? Who heard? Who were we talking about?
I say Kate.
Kate, okay.
I have heard from sources that she is actually working directly with them, checking in, not only checking in, but actively working with them to train consistently. There is a difference. I want someone that's hands-on. I don't want someone that's going to direct someone to manage me. I want someone that's going to work with me directly and having that experience so we can have that relationship.
But I have heard through other sources, from different sources, that Bobby Gucci does a lot more than he lets on, and that people know about.
If that's the case, I love being proven wrong. I just don't know your sources.
True.
If Ben and Ghai, I would say if Ben is telling you that, awesome. I don't have Ben telling me that.
I also have to say, I honestly think that his whole demeanor can be is just a super. I don't know for sure. I see it as a brilliant act. Make people think you're the idiot and you underestimate them.
That's true.
And I gotta say, all I gotta say is you can't argue results. It doesn't matter how he's doing it.
Okay. Let's say, for example, hypothetically, Christian and Ellis say, you know what, we want to completely wipe the slate clean, and you can have no competitors, none of the same competitors going into your next that you can draft next time. Completely new, none of the same. I wonder what his situation would be like.
I would too.
That's something I would be a lot more curious about. I mean, would his competitors be asking to be traded to be in his faction again? Because I've heard from several people be like having that relationship with Winston, with Kate. I haven't heard that conversation about, like I said, I don't have the same relationships that you have, obviously, with Ben and Merle and Roca and everything. I don't. But like I mentioned, I'm curious what that direct relationship is. As far as like how interactive with the training mentoring, is he kind of giving him a lot of that leadership directly? Is he checking on very regularly? Hey, what new movies are you watching, etc.? What categories are we actively working on? Have you done your research on their competitors, or strengths or weaknesses? How are we staying consistent? What are our goals for the next few weeks, movie-wise, training-wise? Are they asking those questions? I don't know.
Everybody has different styles, so I'm not sure how it's going to happen. But another point in Gucci's favor is Sabrina chose him. She had offers from about 5 or 6 different people, and she chose to go with them. So obviously, you want her.
I mean that's neither here or there. You know, she's cool, but I mean she's amazing. I think she's adorable, but so
I'm just saying
she could lose in her first match, and we might not hear from her for the rest of the season.
That's true.
We don't know. She could be the next singles champion.
I'm not saying anything about like her.
She's
a very intelligent person, and Gucci's able to convince her to sign with them over 5 different people.
Yeah. Now, if she was like, for example, if Ben ended up deciding he wanted to be a manager, or Roca did, and I could see Gucci's competitors be like, actually, I want to go to his faction, Ben's faction, because I have that personal one-on-one mentorship experience with Ben, not with Gucci as much.
I would also like to say, though, this is the second group of people that Dagnino has managed into greatness. Did we forget about the Patriots? The Patriots are arguably the greatest team that I've ever seen.
Draco and Snyder said he didn't do anything for them at the time. He was a mouthpiece. He didn't do hands-on training with them. That's what they've said before about him.
Yeah, but that's not what they need. They had the knowledge there. They needed I've talked to JT and stuff like that. Like they needed other things for them that they needed.
That's true. I guess it's just being able to read and recognize your competitors efficiently.
That's what it is. That's what I was trying to avoid, is that there's different kinds of managers. Some people are hands-on one way. Some people are just people who mold people the right way, or they massage you the right way to get to you where you need to go. Winning is winning. The main, that's the end of the game. Doesn't matter. You could be manager of the year. You could be the shittiest manager. If you're winning every time, you're getting the job done. So, I don't know.
It's neither here or there, honestly. It's working for him, and I'm excited for him. I have no doubt he's going to maintain a number of belts at the end of the year. How much is of it because of his direct involvement? We don't know. So.
It's good fighting with you again, Alex.
It has been a while, hasn't it?
Hey, these hands are magic. Let me tell you, these hands are magic.
That's true.
Oh my gosh.
All right, back to the match, I guess.
But yeah, so round 3, Barbarian got his 2 his 2-pointer, right? Havoc got his 2 and 5 correct.
Right.
Ending the game with 19-17 in Barbarian's favor. So it was a close match.
It was. I mean, I think that wasn't. It was almost never in doubt to me after the first round. I mean, it could have come back, but I felt it was pretty much over at that point. But like I said, at the end of the day, Barbarian was great, excellent, but he wasn't quite IG championship level yet. That's how I ended the thing.
That's how
Adam is a good guy. I just think he's always going to be kind of a second tier IG player. He's a good guy. He has base knowledge. I just don't think he'll ever. I think the levels of the IG are a little bit above him at this point. Smart guy, but unless he decides to study his ass off and really get into it.
I think that's the difference. He's a very busy guy. I think he has the base knowledge there. He has the interest there. He has the drive to want to play there. But I think he just isn't putting what other IG players are putting into preparing for the matches. So if he did, we might see a whole new thing. You know what I mean? But I feel like studying and stuff like that's just not a priority at the moment. So until that happens.
He's really got to study his Lord of the Rings stuff too.
Yeah. He needs to brush up on Lord of the Rings. He knows where to focus.
But just by the way, I have to bring that up. There was that error in one of the questions. No, it seemed nobody really noticed it. It was it was a quote, and it was wrongly attributed it, but they gave it to him and got it to him. It was about I can't remember the exact quote. Buck, if you're out there, Buck, put it in the exact quote.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Chat. I don't remember. I do remember it was a quote about something. I think someone Gandalf said to Frodo, and they said Gandalf said to Bilbo, which is a completely different character.
Totally.
And nobody seemed to say anything, and it went by. It was just kind of an interesting. Yeah, it was a disturber of the peace. Frodo tells Gandalf that you've been labeled now. You've been labeled a disturber of the peace. But said that Bilbo said it, and he just totally went by, and it was exactly. Frodo tells Gandalf. So it's kind of funny because I don't even think the people in the chat really didn't even say anything. I was just kind of
I mean, it doesn't change. It doesn't change the real what the question is asking. Really, I think honestly,
it was a different character because he got it right. They got it ahead Bilbo, and it was the wrong.
But but wasn't he described as the same thing in both of them?
No,
I thought that was mentioned in the first Hobbit movie. At one point, where he's labeled a disturber of the peace, as well as Frodo mentioning, as well as
Frodo mentioned it because of Gandalf's adventures with Bilbo.
I don't remember the question though, but do they say in blah 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 movie what, or is it just say what does Ferocious Gandalf.
Yeah, I don't think they mentioned a movie or anything at all.
That would be if it's in the movie, then it's an obvious like, okay, well, they misspoke, whatever. But if they don't say it in the movie, then I can see that would be a problem.
Right. But I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because Adam's so lost anyway. So.
Yeah. We did get a quick donation. 3 great people on screen. Favorite match so far. Nice. Love it.
Thank you, Shug. I believe it's Shug or Justin or Ferris, but most likely Shug.
It's a sugar. Cow.
Thank you, Peter Jackson himself. Oh, sorry, Malcolm. Looks the same pretty much. There you go. Barbarian is great, but no one is talking about the fact that Goddard has proved himself much more and gets far less acknowledgement, exchange bias, I think. Wow.
I feel like that's a very I feel like that's a big conversation, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I know Christian even mentioned who at this point right now in the season, who do you think would be Rookie of the Year? And like a good half of them said Parker, and he's only had 1 match come out so far, versus Goddard, where he's already succeeded in 2 leagues, and now a 3rd one. Sure, he may not be great in IG, but at the same time, you can't deny competing well in 3 leagues is a definitely
as you should.
It's a lot
I'm sorry, go ahead.
better, I guess. So
here's my thought on this. I actually think he has gotten a lot of love, and Goddard, like people have talked about Goddard getting Rookie of the Year, because right now, technically speaking, if we're to end today, he does have Rookie of the Year because he's. 100%. But the issue with that is the only reason he is the Rookie of the Year so far is because he's played the most matches. He's had the most matches involvement. I think when Barbarian and Parker get more matches, then they'll surpass Goddard, because Goddard wins, does well, but I don't think I've ever seen him dominate anybody. Barbarian is a good dominator. Parker knocks people the fuck out. Like there are going to be people that are going to really showcase.
He's played 1 match.
I will bet you a bunch of dollars.
I'm sure he will,
because he doesn't need to like show me. He's been in the fan. I know he's in the fan leagues a lot. In the fan leagues, he was dominating on harder questions. He hasn't missed a question, and I don't think he's going to miss a question in IG.
That's neither here or there. This is a whole different situation, and I do think he is going to nail it. I do think he's going to get to the final round, and I don't know if he's going to win or lose when time comes it gets Mets or Kalinowski or whatever it might be. But at the same time, he has 1 match, and considering the amount of hype he's had around him, if he doesn't get to that championship level match, it will be considered a letdown.
I agree.
I've had people tell me that, and I'm like, no pressure, 21-year-old kid who's playing for the first time that's only played in 1 match. Like he's gonna fail at some point.
Didn't seem fair, though. Didn't seem
he played 1 match. We're not talking about Craig being on that level, because he had the same, technically he had a perfect match in his debut match as well as a rookie.
I did. I think people were talking about him just as much. I think, honestly, it's
Parker was hyped up last summer.
That's true. That's very true.
Craig was starting to be hyped up, last fall, like maybe in November, December, absolutely. But that's a completely different conversation as far as like how hyped up he is.
And Dean, there's no excuse. I'm not giving him an excuse. I'm just saying he is undefeated. He's absolutely undefeated, which is why I said if it ended today, he is Rookie of the Year. I'm just saying that speculative in the future, by the end of the year, once Parker and Barbarian both have more matches, then they're going to leapfrog over him. That's my prediction at this point. I just don't think Goddard's as good as they are. He's good. He'll win, but he won't win as well or as convincingly, let's say, as Barbarian and Parker will. I could be wrong. Absolutely wrong.
If Parker wins the IG belt, I think he could be much, much more likely to win Rookie of the Year. Ben, if he gets anywhere close to a belt in any of the leagues, he's Rookie of the Year, hands down. I think, who was it? Yeah, even Eric mentioned, I don't think Parker will compete in teams or singles, so this tournament and division is his only chance to earn a Rookie of the Year. Goddard and Barbarian still have the other tourneys to really shine.
What's going to be interesting is Parker faces Goddard next in IG. And it's all, a lot of things are about image and how things look. If Parker whips his ass, if Parker whoops his ass, it's going to be hard to vote against him. Like Parker versus Goddard of the Year. If Parker beats his ass, something bad, then that's gonna be one of those sticking points when you.
Okay, well, what if the Pride end up being like #1 contenders, or end up getting getting a team's belt?
Absolutely could be. I'm just saying, like, if you have Parker getting the IG or getting an IG match against Smets, I want, because I don't know, but I don't know if him and Smets could be a phenomenal match if that ever happens. But having him in the #1 contender match, having the Pride in a #1 contender match, but Parker beat the hell out of Goddard in the IG tournament.
It would become down to recency bias. People won't remember this match all that much compared to towards the end of the year when we do get towards those tournament matches where there's more championship belt matches being discussed. This is we're not even hitting the half of the year and half of the season, and so them already coming up, people are going to forget about this match at all.
One thing I would like to point out real quick, Chris says Parker is expected to win, but I feel like Parker has to outshine Smets rookie year to really grasp rookie of the year.
And that is impossible.
I feel that he had the Peter moment. You know what I mean? Like, he lost. If Parker doesn't have that, then his year could be better than Smets' year.
I would argue, honestly, that's what made it better, though. People cheered
storyline wise, but
people cheered for him like no other because of that loss. It made him look human, and people loved him for it. We can talk all day and night about how perfect someone can be, but at the same time, that just seems unapproachable at a certain point.
But do people vote because I like that person? They had a really good storyline, so I'm gonna vote for them, or like this person won every single thing, knocked out everybody,
storyline
almost perfect wise.
Well, that's a storyline. If Parker
knocks out stories over numbers.
If Parker knocks out everybody, that's a story in itself, though.
He's not being included in story or anything all that much right now.
If he's undefeated all year long, every single match he's in all season, and his stuff, that's a story. It's going to be a storyline. You know what I mean?
He'd be like a Damon. He'd be like a Damon.
Yeah.
Like in Star Wars.
Again, it comes down to recency bias. I think people might be. He's not. There's no storyline or anything going on right now. Again, he's only been in one match, and I think he is going to thrive and he's going to do well. He is going to be going up against Kalinowski, so
maybe
let's not for. He will go up against Kalinowski.
You think Kalinowski got the other side of the bracket already?
Okay, so it's him. Brandon Hanna is going to be going up against Jen or
Damon.
Sorry, yes, you're right. Jen can be or. Damon. Hannah's would knock both of them out, hands down. That's obvious. Kalinowski is going to beat. I love you, Greg. I love you to death. But you're going up against the champion. You're going up against that, and Mike is going to take down
Zipper.
Hannah. Oh, Zipper. I love Zipper. He's my dude, my homeboy.
I'm not going to sleep on him. I wouldn't sleep on him at all.
The words out of his mouth is saying, I don't want to focus on IG. I will focus on IG if you tell me to, but I don't want to be in IG all that much this season.
Zipper said they said?
Yes.
Yeah, but he also talked to us after that, and he's flipped his gears now, and he's been studying with Parker and Smets.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm just saying, like,
I guess the attitude has changed him a little bit, but
I also worry about KO. I don't think KO's had the same swagger since Smets knocked him out in the Spectacular.
Oh, you shut your mouth.
How
dare you?
This year, he's won his matches with corruption, but it's been Chance that's been winning it for him. Not winning it for him, but he's been a little rusty, and Chance has been the A player on that team.
What?
He does not have the same swagger yet. He's got to convince me. He could get it back. He absolutely could get it back. I just think
you need to leave, Paul. I love you, but you need to leave.
He could totally get it back. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying, but I'm not going to sleep on Smets. I'm not going to sleep on Zipper, and I think Hannah could beat him possibly too.
But also Zipper, he's not feeling he wasn't feeling himself all too much after he lost in his singles match against Stacy. He was hyped up like crazy for that match, and he proved, oh my gosh, he is like a serious force to be reckoned with. And his loss in singles does not mean he is a bad competitor in singles. I cannot wait to see him rock it.
He's due because he's had a lot of bad luck, it seems like, too. He's due. So that slow down luck, so to speak. So,
but at what point are you going to stop blaming luck?
I'm not blaming it. I'm just saying things got to even out.
I don't know it. Yeah, it sucks. That's the way it is, unfortunately.
Either way, I'm just saying that KO, I don't think KO is as much of a lock as you seem to think he is on that side. That's all. I think there's a lot of ways that he can.
I think he's going to lock more than Zipper is. If you had to put money on it, would you really put money on Zipper
over KO?
KO? Really?
I'd consider it because
would you? If you had,
I want to see KO's first match against Alba.
I'm not talking about what you want to see.
I wouldn't put money on it yet. I
to?
wouldn't put money on it yet. I want to see. Like I said, when KO faces Alba, I'll make that judgment then because I want to see him in a one-on-one match. I want to see if he's got his swagger back. If he has his swagger back, then he beats Zipper. If he doesn't, if he's shaky, if he's rusty, if he's in his head, then I would maybe put money on it.
It's when he gets in his head sometimes, when he has those moments where everyone doubts him, that's when he thrives. When he beat Smets, when everyone was vocally going against Smets.
Yeah, but then in Spectacular, he missed that one question in round 1 against Smets, and he went, "Oh!"
It happens every once in a while. He's
Margarita Monday.
Back harder and faster than ever, and I want to see him rock it, knock it out.
Dude, Mike Kalinowski is an awesome member of the community, awesome showdown competitor. I think he's built a lot.
But coming along,
I'm just saying, I'm not sold entirely that he's back yet. Convince me.
I feel similarly.
I'm sorry. Do we want to talk about the numbers? We can talk about the numbers, my dude.
Yeah, the number is he got his ass kicked in Spectacular.
Yeah, one match out of how many?
And he hasn't performed that well since.
He hasn't played since.
Yes, he has.
There's Chance, and Chance has been the reason why they've won.
He hasn't really played since. He's played in one match.
And it was 2 matches this year, and Chance, and both times Chance was the one who really stepped it up, I thought.
Regardless, he's still fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not fantastic. I want to see.
Even in IG, Zipper was never that great.
You're right.
He was okay. He never reached his full potential. And I'm hoping he's going to get a nice kick in the keister, from, rooming over there with a fellow, with a champion, and also being part of the dungeon. I can't wait to see how that's going to play out.
We'll have to see. I do like it. I think it could be a great match, and we'll have to see what happens. But either way, it's possible.
Either way, though, Brandon loses. So, that's when it's important.
I still think Hannah can do it, too. I really do.
You need to get out of here. Who are you?
I don't want to do it. He's a freaking backstabbing son of a bitch.
Why are you saying he can win? Are you a traitor? Are you a sleeper agent for Brandon
for him?
I don't even know you. I swear. Kelsey, someone is taking over his skin, and it's not cool, and I'm not here for it. It's grody. It's
rooting against him.
Grody. Yeah. I know.
We'll talk about Hannah a little bit later.
Yeah. Well, if you're ready, we could go into it. I might as well just keep the IG matches together
And
then go back to Star Wars. Just go back.
Want to get into Hannah Saul?
Yeah, let's get into Hannah Saul because I've got opinions about that traitor.
Wow.
I got thoughts. Words. Lots of aggressive words.
Fucking Hannah.
Right.
Right?
I wanted Saul to clean his clock. I wanted Saul to talk. And Saul had some zingers. Saul had the great promos.
Promos are amazing.
Great promo.
And Saul did well. He actually proved himself worthy of being in the tournament, proved himself worthy of being a player. But Hannah just played well. You can't knock how he played.
He didn't do great in the first round, honestly.
He had a perfect first round.
Perfect first round.
Wait, was it in the second round he didn't do very well?
And only things he missed. He missed the bonus question in round 1. He missed the steal in round 2.
Loser.
I think he went down to multiple choice once. I think I'm a little
At the end of round 2, he was at 19 points.
Yeah.
All I know is he's a weenie, and I do not want him anywhere close to us.
Hey, Alex. For the first time, I agree 100% with you.
But do you?
I do.
Do you?
I don't want him to be near us. I think he's a weenie. I think he's like.
Why are you saying these words? Like, I think he's gonna beat these people, but at the same time, we ate them. Okay, either one or the other, my dude.
There's difference between could and want. I don't want the Yankees to win, but they do win sometimes.
Yeah, I don't acknowledge them. I live here in St. Louis, okay, with the Cardinals. We don't acknowledge those people here.
I don't know what you acknowledge because the Red Sox Cardinals twice in the World.
I will have to say though,
Red Sox. I
do have to say though, he's got this win, so he's got that confidence boost a little bit. So it'll be even more satisfying when he gets destroyed next round.
That's
true. You know what I mean?
That is true.
Regardless, he's gonna lose very soon. That's it. That's what matters.
That's all that matters.
I hope so.
I can't wait for him to lose. It's gonna be amazing. I'll throw a party. I'll throw a schmodown thing.
We'll have a party.
We should totally have a call to action party.
Like balloons,
When Hannah loses, we have a
Wear
party.
my crown.
Yeah.
Is that my 30-year-old birthday crown that Lucas got me?
I didn't get a 30-year-old birthday crown. I'm jealous.
Lucas is good.
I got one, but it's fucking long gone, a long time ago now. So.
People at work decorated my desk with like tombstones that said 30 on them. I'm like, thanks, guys.
That sounds creepy.
Fuck Brad and Hannah.
Just going over
Right, Hannah. What a weenie.
Motherfucking goddamn.
You know what? Who I am really excited about, though, going off that, I am excited to see what the hype, all the hype coming up around Jen Kempe, though. I am super psyched for her. Cannot wait. And Alex Damon obviously is really great, but he's clearly a little shaky when it comes to IG.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
the dude is human. So
I have no idea, never seen anything about Jen Kempe. I've heard good things, but I've never seen, so I can't really predict about that. I really can't predict that one at all.
I can guarantee great things.
Yeah. Is she going to beat Damon, you think?
I'm sorry?
You think she's going to beat Damon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Especially after seeing his IG match. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she has it. She's got it. Yeah.
I can't say anything. So I mean, I'll trust you on your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
She was in the free for all last year, wasn't she? I do remember that, but it was she lasted like only one round though, 2 rounds, didn't she?
I don't
remember how.
That's not IG though. Usually they're not focused on IG.
Is she a full-time IG player?
She's an IG gal.
Okay, I wasn't sure because, like, you know, the lot of live players
Unless they tournament or something, or if something's changed. I don't know, but I know for a fact.
Although the issue with going back to Alex Damon, of course, the issue is what does he spin? If he spins Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, because he's very good at Lord of the Rings as well. If he spins one of those, then he might find his way through. If he spins something what his weaknesses are, or like a track.
I agree.
Well, moving forward, the wheel is definitely going to be statistically in his favor. Jen has to be smart though about strategizing.
Right.
Obviously, she needs her faction needs her points. Man, they're desperate right now. But
absolutely.
Anyway.
So either way, Hannah and Saul. So back to Hannah and Saul.
Yeah.
It was not a TKO, right? Because Saul, Hannah had to answer his questions. Okay.
Yes.
But it pretty much was over before he went to round 3.
What are you talking about, Chris? What? Oh yeah, exactly. She was in full metal and multiplex, and I guarantee, like I said, she is a force to be reckoned with.
I gotta be honest, I don't
know about her.
I don't know how many families there are and what families' names are, even to be honest. That's done from this is nothing to me. I know you're a family manager and all power to you. I couldn't tell you which one's which.
You're not kidding. There are quite a few fan-like matches, and there's new ones that pop up all the time. And there's there's different rules and everything for each league, so it can get really confusing. So I don't blame you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think we do know exactly what his weakness is. I mean, I don't know if we do. Has he shown any real weaknesses during his matches? I mean, I haven't seen that really consider a weakness yet.
I don't think we've seen a weakness.
My money's on Trek, to be honest.
Didn't he get Trek?
Trek. He sold 2 on Trek.
Yeah.
Did he?
But I mean, Chris is not wrong. I mean, he definitely is a serious threat. Until proven that he has a real weakness, then he's got to be considered a threat, especially when he has that kind of knowledge for 2 of the categories. Those are 2 big categories to be.
Yeah.
So,
like I mentioned, though, it's when it comes to IG competitors now, if you're not getting at least you're not getting almost a perfect round, you're not going to last very long in this tournament.
No, you're right. You got to get
nowadays. Like it's a whole different situation, even like 1 or 2 seasons ago.
It's demoralizing.
You have to actively train all the time. You have to. Yeah, it's a whole different situation.
It's demoralizing if you miss a round 1 question because then it's like, oh, fuck. Now you got to figure out how to claw your way back. It gets difficult at that point.
Ooh, I wonder about Wizarding World for Alex. Interesting.
And Don says, I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
Wizarding World is deceivingly difficult. You think it's easy because you might have read the books or seen the movies a handful of times growing up. At least we have, Kelsey, you and I.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like there's so much knowledge you have to know for that guy.
There's also those 2 other movies that you just don't really want to watch again.
Exactly. I've seen the other 2 movies once, and I'm good. And I don't know if I'm.
liked them. I did. That's just
True. The first one's okay. The second one was very sloppy.
I liked it. I promise I'm not trying to be contrarian right now. I promise.
That's fine.
I really liked.
Actually, it's the other way around. Usually I say I love a film, and you're like, "Oh, that sucks."
I went with a friend. I went with a friend to see Crimes of Grindelwald by ourselves, and not reading any reviews or anything. And I was just like so surprised by how much I enjoyed it. But you know, it's neither here or there.
I mean, I'm going to see the next one when it comes out. I'm not like turned off of it, but
they're going to be canceled, 100%,
right.
Especially after J.K. Rowling right now.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. Moving on.
Moving on. But yeah, so then we went to round 3, and Hannah got his 2 and 3 correct. Saul got his 2 and 3 correct, but missed his 5. So it ended 24-21 in Hannah's favor.
Right. It was the 5 the Iron Man question, right? It was the
I think so.
Right.
My notes aren't as good this time because I had so many matches to deal with. But I believe so. Because then Hannah was taunting him about it on Facebook.
I did say that because at that point I said that Saul really needed to get all 3 of his questions right for the most part. And then Hannah could still win even though. So it's kind of one of those things where it was leaning in Hannah's favor pretty heavily by the 3rd round.
Mm-hmm.
I thought. That was also my gut instinct on how the game was just unfolding at the time. Just to answer.
Yeah.
No question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's clear he knew it, and he beat himself up over that one too. He clearly knew it.
He mentioned it in the chat afterwards about it. Different reasons why.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely great showing by both competitors. I'm excited to see Saul compete in the future. I think he did prove himself as a showdown competitor just in general.
Absolutely.
And that would be awesome to see him come back.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is true too. Did you see that, by the way? Did you see that one, by the way?
Yeah. That's what I said. I'm like, I think that was the question because Hannah was trolling Saul pretty bad.
Hannah trolled I don't think Hannah is like actively trolling to be an asshole or anything. I think he's just being himself.
Which is an asshole.
Which is an asshole.
So, but he's not trying to be an asshole. He just is an asshole, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking asshole.
What a weenie.
What a weenie.
What a weenie.
What a Damon or Jen just
person.
Just wipe the floor of them.
Yeah. Knock him out. Make it painful.
I hope he's
make him cry. That'd be great.
Like a really spiky Lego.
I was considering
this room.
I was considering going back to our chilled action episode with him and like censoring him out. Just on his butt.
His face. Every word he says.
New dialogue or something there. Like have his mouth move. We insert new dialogue. I'm a weenie. Jake gets good on it.
Jake, you got a project now.
Get on it.
Oh, all right. Any final thoughts on that match before we move on to Star Wars?
Real quickly before we walk away from that, Hannah did obviously win. It was a great match and everything. I do think that although Saul lost, people are going to be actively talking about Saul next season. He is going to be like the real sneak picks, and he is going to get several offers, I'm sure, next season.
He has knowledge.
Yeah.
He has promo ability.
Character.
That's very difficult to do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a total package kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
he's going to be the real secret weapon coming up.
Okay.
Indeed.
All right, now moving on to Star Wars, Alex's favorite division.
Star Wars.
This is
or in the words of Kevin Smith, Star Wars.
That's a different movie altogether.
What? No. Where he named his daughter Millennium Falcon in that one movie.
That was so good.
All right. Well, we had 2 matches back to back this week, starting off with a pretty big bang with Dimalanta versus Scrimshaw, and this match was glorious. this match made me be like, this is why I'm a Star Wars fan, because these are my people, but yet I am not even anywhere on their level.
Dimalanta just proved what he said he was going to do. Like did what he said he was going to do, and he's hungry. He wants it, and he showed it.
Mm-hmm.
He is definitively, to me. I mean, we'll talk about the other match afterward, but definitively he's going to the finals, no matter who he faces. And I do think whoever faces him, if it's Laura Kelly again, I think that
it is Laura Kelly.
It's probably going to be Laura Kelly.
It will be.
It's most likely going to be Laura Kelly. I'll say most likely. I just think, let's put it this way. If I had to pick one person to go to the final definitively, it's Dimalanta. Laura Kelly.
After that performance?
After that performance? Yeah. He's ready. He wants it.
Laura Kelly had a very similar performance. She didn't get a single answer wrong.
She is. I just think
do you think it's the intensity or the fact that they went into overtime so he kind of proved himself by extension?
It was more like, he was absolutely perfect. Seems really hungry, and also the level of competition. I do think that, like, Damon versus Witt happened. I think Dimalanta's got them pretty easily. Kelly's to face Knapsack, who is, or Knapsack or Ace, possibly, whatever. Knapsack he doesn't study anymore. That's part of the problem, but he has that base knowledge that Scrimshaw has.
Mm-hmm.
So it's and that's true. Yes, that's true too. So I think she'll have a tougher time in that than Dimalanta will have against Damon, Molly Damon. That's fine. If not, that's by Ace though. Ace is still kind of an unknown quantity for me at this point.
Yeah,
I am in the first match. He seems to have the knowledge, but I want to see him against Knapsack before he can sell me on it.
Yeah, I'm really 50-50 on how that match is going to go. I'm really excited for it because I truly don't know who I think is going to win that one.
Regardless of who wins, I do know Laura Kelly's going to beat them. Honestly, based on either one of them's performance.
I would predict that. Absolutely. I would predict Laura Kelly wins. I'm just saying that I think Dimalanta beats. It's more of a lock that Dimalanta will beat Molly Damon. That's in my mind at this point.
Oh yeah, I do think that's the case as well. The final match is between Laura Kelly and Dimalanta. I mean, but we're going to be going into the next match and nice.
That's true. That's very true.
There's a lot to dive into that one.
But yeah, Dimalanta was perfect. He saved his challenges right. I think at one point in round 2, he wanted to challenge. He thought about challenging.
You could see his face. He was thinking about it, and then
I know what he was going to challenge, but he was wise not to challenge. I think because he would have gotten it. Because Scrimshaw said red leader, and it could have been red 1, technically, or it could have been he could have gotten the name of the pilot, but it was. They would have gone. They would have gone with red leader. So I think his challenge would have been overruled.
Yeah, which is a good thing because it may still ended the same way, but we might have had a much longer overtime, and who knows what happened. So I think he used that challenge very correctly. Yep. So, but yeah, talking about the rounds, it's pretty easy to talk about. Round 1, 11 points per competitor. Such a great round 1, which is we're already set up for that match. That was great. And then round 2, Dimalanta got Phantom Menace, and Scrimshaw got New Hope. So great, awesome, 21 points each because they're just unstoppable. And round 3 also perfect. Like there's not even much detail to talk about. Everyone was just perfect every single round until overtime.
Yeah, and then it was by a couple words.
By a word.
One word, right? Luke's hatred. So
hatred. Yep.
That's all it took.
One word. Yeah.
That is amazing to me. Although I will say that Scrimshaw's play in this match does not to go back to their story, but I think that shows me that Ken can still do it because Scrimshaw's a similar player to Ken in that they don't study; they just have that base knowledge. They don't really. I don't think they care as much about winning belts. They like to come and talk Star Wars. That's their goal. You're gonna throw me on the plane and I'll do Star Wars trivia. Absolutely. Dimalanta wants the belt. He wants to play the game and win the belt. Scrimshaw's like,
pissed.
From Star Wars. Yeah, he's pissed. Exactly. Scrimshaw's like, I get to come and answer Star Wars questions. Great. And he still went perfect and almost beat him. So that makes me think that Ken, even if Ken's not studying, and Ken would be able to have just as good a game. So that's why I really want to see Ken and Gear. I want to see where he is at that. But going back to the real match, of course, Dimalanta had it. He made a good challenge. And he won. He's ready to go. He's showed himself he's ready to go.
He's so cool and collected. Like the one thing that he needed to work on, which back to Dan, helped him with his knowing what he needed to slow down. That's what he needed to work on. He didn't need help studying. He didn't need help stuff like that. He's already got that. He needed help with what like little things like composure and things like that he needed to work on. And that I felt like changed his game.
That's a good question.
Yeah, being able to calm down and really just make sure to refocus rather than, because I know Bibbs, he mentioned it the other day where like it's the mentality of being in the speed round. Obviously he kind of mentioned being involved in Star Wars like it's very similar to being involved in a speed round. Thing is, if you can't get a question wrong really nowadays in Star Wars, and same thing over to speed round. If you get a question wrong, you're taking away a point. So you're pretty much doing the same thing, considering a lot of these Star Wars matches come to 1 or 2 points. They really do versus the other leagues sometimes. We did get a few donations in Streamlabs, so thank you so much, Kelsey. I put them in the private chat for you.
Okay. All right, perfect. Barbarian is great, but no one is talking about the fact Goddard has proved himself much more and gets far less acknowledgement. Exchange bias, I think.
That's what I talked earlier. That's the one I actually did that one earlier. So
totally right. Yeah.
And then evil laugh from Danny.
Surprise!
Here's a good question. Actually, her question. I mean, we don't have to go deep into it, but match of the year, Dimalanta versus Scrimshaw so far.
I don't know. I feel like it's too soon to say that. I feel like we should let it marinate for a little bit. But it would definitely be in the discussion. Absolutely.
I think the other one. Go ahead.
I hate to be like that, but like, I do feel like something is lost with it being digitally. If that was in a studio or live batch, shoo in. But the fact that like Bateman versus Merle was live and just the energy of that room and stuff versus the StreamYard thing, I think that will hurt it a little bit as being a choice.
I also felt bad for Koi's situation as well. With his internet connection, there was entire situations where he couldn't talk to Scrimshaw at all because of his internet, and the screen was black. And he's like, "I'm so sorry, I'm rebooting my computer," and trying to play catch up. And I felt so bad for him. And Scrimshaw was pretty much like, "Well, we're just gonna figure it out. Thanks, guys."
I just loved how Scrimshaw was just unflappable about it. He's like, great, thanks, good talk. I love Scrimshaw.
I love Scrimshaw too. Slight segue to the quarantine beards that are happening within the Schmodown division, like element down, are on point. Scrimshaw's beard was looking good. Whit's beard, like everyone's looking good with the beards.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. There you go.
More about Star Wars than literally ending one.
That's so true. Good. And that is also true. Oof. As long as expeditions don't count, which they don't, but that
I don't think they will.
Was so good too. That's another one that'd be
I feel like that'd be definitely a conversation, as if it would be like maybe worth half a point or something. Especially if we weren't able to, they didn't come back and with
right.
They didn't come back and do filming regular matches like they did. But thankfully, that's not the conversation. We don't really need that.
All right. Are we ready to go for our last match to talk about?
Sure.
All right. So right after that match, we had a nice little Q&A to kind of break up, because then here we come with our second Star Wars match of the day, which was Wit versus Damon. Molly Damon. And, okay. So this match actually was kind of closer than I thought it was going to be, to be perfectly honest. I kind of thought Damon was going to be a little bit more of a threat in this match. Maybe it could be just nerves the first time. Who knows? But I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a further split.
I don't think she's ready yet. I just don't think she's ready yet. I don't know if she needs more time to marinate or more time, whatever, or more time with Alex to study or whatever. She's got some good base knowledge, but there's definitely some holes there that a top level player like Alex or like Andrew will be able to exploit, I think.
I wonder if it's not so much the knowledge, but the ability to do it under pressure. Because obviously she's done well in the past. Like, she's proven her knowledge in other matches. I think it might just come down to being under the lights. And it just might be not only just working under the lights, but Alex was literally like right there.
Yeah.
And so like just adding fuel to the fire. And so I don't know if that might be making her more nervous. Maybe that's helping calm her. I'm not sure. But I know if I had the guy who if my husband ended up being like, that was the current champion, was sitting like a foot away from me, I would be like, get the heck out of here. Let me focus. You're taking away from my experience right now.
Right.
I'd be pissed, but
Yeah.
everyone's a little bit different.
And speaking of focus too, there was a ton of challenges early on in that match. That would throw me off. Constantly having to stop what we're doing, have conversations, stuff like that. That would throw me off personally. I don't know if that did either one of them, but that could be too, where you're kind of in the game and then you have to wait for like 5 minutes while they're talking about things, and then you have to get back in the game and then wait 5 to 10 minutes while they talk about it. So yeah.
I should get challenges. It happened so long ago for me what the challenges were, but they were good challenges, all of them had.
Wit seemed like he had some really good challenges. However, he didn't really understand what the challenge was. He recognized a challenge could be made, but the difference between him and Andrew Dimalanta is that Andrew seemed like he analyzed the question a little bit more efficiently. And he's like, okay, I'm going to save that challenge for later. Versus Wit, he recognized the challenge and he challenged right away without really letting it marinate, which is, I think, is a real big problem for him. Yeah. So him, more than anyone, especially, he needs to really rake it in, chill out. And Kaiser, he was just like, I believe him. Sounds like a cool challenge.
That's because I think Kaiser doesn't know any better.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
very well, so.
It comes down to, when it comes to making a challenge, that it's not so much if you can tell when something's wrong. You have to say the exact words to issue a challenge. Like, you can't just say, well, the question is misleading. You have to say specifically why it's misleading with the examples. And you have to be able to provide the right answer from that. So you can't just be like, the sky is blue. You can't be like, well, based on this, you say, explain why it's blue. The science behind why it's blue, essentially. You can't just be like, oh, because I see it and it's blue. No, it's go into specifics to prove why. So, and I feel like that was his big downfall, because he was just like, well, in the scene, I think it was this, and that's what made him lose. Be able to get the wording out correctly.
Okay, I got you on that. Let's see. Here's one actually. There is the 3 challenges that there were there. I could talk about it. 1,000 years instead of over 1,000. That's true. It was plant dialogue, so it was the correct one. Shield generated instead of deflector shield. That was a tough one because he challenged, but he was wrong too.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, I guess it's worth it to not get her a point, but you didn't get the point either. The last one was always interesting to me because I don't know, you guys don't know House and watch Star Wars. I know what he was going for with that. He said 3PO was R2 because they were all standing around in the funeral at the grave. C3PO was there. R2 came off the ship, and then C3PO interrupted the proceedings and said that R2 has a message. So he said 3PO interrupted it. Technically, it was R2 interrupting the whole thing because 3PO was there the whole time. But it was such a... I got what he was technically arguing for.
This is proof of what Alex was saying. I think if we would have worded the challenge differently,
right?
You know what I mean? Then maybe he might have had more valid point. It's just how he challenged it.
Because people can bullshit their way into the judges. Ben Bateman.
Well, the thing is just gonna follow up with that. It's just I've issued challenges before,
exactly.
Personally, and I'm like, okay, well, the question is this, and it was something between the. One person asked the question to my competitor, and he ended up getting it wrong. Fine. However, he ended up, he didn't say the letter. He said he misheard one of the answers, and so he thought it was this because he has an accent, and so he's like, well, I thought you said this, so I said it that way.
Right.
And what he said it based off the accent, and so we had to argue. So I felt bad. So I was pretty much saying, this guy said it wrong.
Right.
So I had to get a new question. Right. And I felt really bad. But those things happen. And just how, and I ended up, we ended up losing the point. I think I ended up losing the challenge because even though because I ended up saying it, I challenged technically on the wrong aspect of it. So I should have challenged on saying, hey, it was, he pretty much gave us the wrong answer by him saying it.
Right.
Versus something else.
One thing I'd like to say too is how I interpret the question. I feel like that question kind of should have just been thrown out, to be perfectly honest, and started over. Because, for example, let's say I was in a conversation with you guys, okay? And then my child came up and like tugged on me, whispered in my ear. I'm like, hey guys, we gotta stop talking. This is what's happening. Did my child interrupt or did I interrupt?
Right.
They didn't, you know what I mean? Like it's like this. I feel like that if it's like this, it shouldn't be a question.
Mhm.
You know, it should be, this is the answer. If there's this, then I've thrown out the question.
Yeah, like I mentioned, it just comes down to as well what what Scrimshaw mentioned during his post interviews is that it's going to be more about the competitor versus the question, not combing their knowledge, essentially. You know, because there is so much of
This.
Jazz fingers, so much jazz fingers.
Spirit fingers.
These are spirit fingers.
I don't know.
It's a movie reference. You wouldn't get it.
Wow.
It's from Bring It On. It's from Bring It On. It's from Bring It On. Alexander Payne's.
Did you know I'm a showgirl from Vegas? Was that close from Chasing Amy? There you go.
I love Chasing Amy. I really do. That's actually my favorite Kevin Smith movie.
You know, that's technically, you could argue a lot of different things.
That's why, if there's that much arguing, they should scrap the question.
Yeah.
That's just
Either way. But I will say also about this match, one thing I did notice is that Adam Witt is one of my favorite competitors. I love watching him guy. He's so committed to it. I think that he could eventually be. I want to see him in Star Wars more. I do think he has that base knowledge, and I think we can get a little bit more in the game, a little bit more like full on in. I think we could see him do some good things in Star Wars. So I really hope he does.
Yeah. I do hope that we don't lose him as a competitor because he keeps losing.
Right.
He lost in. I mean, he hasn't. As far as unless I'm sure we're gonna get him in a teams match and singles here and everything very soon.
Yeah.
But he hasn't really won a match since being part of the movie guys, from what I remember.
Yeah.
And I would hate, and he's so cool. He's so great. And he's so much fun. I would hate to lose him because he's like, well, I don't get that much out of this. And it's fun. But I mean, at the same time, I just keep losing and it's so public.
Yeah.
It sucks after a while. And I know that's happened to some other competitors.
I get it. I do think he's having a good time still, though. I think we got a couple more matches from him. I think if we can get him a win, just get him over that hump.
Yeah.
Because he's another guy who's kind of had a little bit of bad luck with some things. He had when he was with the movie guys, he played really well, especially then. But yeah, he went over for him. So I mean, you got to win sometime, though. Unfortunately,
yeah. He's clearly knowledgeable. He has it. It's just being able to calm down. And I don't know if Kaiser's the right manager for him, honestly.
Oh, that's a good point.
Personality-wise, I think they do awesome. But at the same time, I feel like he kind of needs someone to kind of be like, hey, chill.
Mm-hmm.
Find your center.
Right here. Let's bring it down a little bit.
He might do good. He might go to the Roxy.
Yeah, I think that would be perfect, honestly.
Totally see that.
Either way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any final thoughts on that match? Let me pull it back up.
Yeah, I think that's.
So it ended 19-24.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good match. Not a great match. It was a good match, and I'm interested to see what happens coming up.
It was the match to see who's going to lose at Dimalanta, basically at this point.
Yep.
It really was. I just think Dimalanta's going to steamroll either. It didn't matter who won. Dimalanta's going to steamroll the winner.
We also got another Streamlabs from a very important lady here very recently. If you want to read Kelsey in the chat.
Sure. We have a Streamlab. Here it is. Hi, from Brandy.
Hi, Brandy. I love Brandy.
I love Brandy. Hi.
I just joined the Bandit Brigade recently.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, those ladies are so cool. I'm so excited.
Brandy and Heather, Blue, they're all really cool people.
Good group of people.
I can't wait.
Or bring them into the Action Army as well, so it's good.
They are, but they are part of the Action Army. They just don't realize it yet.
Well, Brandy already does.
Most people don't realize they're there.
Heather Bedore showing up more and often, so we'll get them. You get everybody eventually. So, what is that? That's a good question, Connor. I mean, hasn't gotten better at playing for Roxy. No, not really. But at the same time, though, she's definitely good job with the odd couple, controlling them and making them work well together.
Alex has, arguably.
Alex Damon. I don't know if can you argue that he got better?
Or
he's
just consistent.
Just is good. He's really good.
Like Wait, let me see. Let me double check. I want to see who is in his faction. Let me just double check.
Good content there. I think that's a good idea.
Yes. They are
Double check.
a treat. I love them both so
Yeah,
much, especially
they're both
together. I mean, they're fun on their own, but together, their dynamic is just makes me rupture.
Their snowblades and their chill both were very, very fun, musky.
Very fun. They're so fun.
Stacey Howard.
Once again, I feel like she's consistent. She did it, but she does constantly.
Me either, Jake. Me either. We don't have Roxy here. We love Roxy. We love
Roxy. We're just saying,
I'm not gonna lie. Looking at this, you might be right. But I do feel like Stacey Howard, she might be coming out flying.
Well.
Honestly,
she did well. She won her match against Zipper. She's doing well.
Now it's an awesome match.
Roxy hasn't had a potential person to get that much better. So let's see what happens with Stacey. I mean, she just wrangled the odd couple very well. That's the good question.
Yeah, that's true. But honestly, Zipper Howard match, that's my personal match of the year so far.
Oh, good. That would be fun. That could very be fun.
That would be cool.
But I got to tell you, I love the brigade, but don't show up to the army yet. Not ready quite yet. You got that.
All right. Well, I think we covered the match.
We got both. So
right.
That'd be a fun match. I think that'd be fun. I honestly think at this point, I think Ghai could get into Goddard's head.
I
think Goddard's probable.
Just a little bit, you know.
So I need to see how Goddard.
If anyone can.
There's a bear shit in the woods.
Yeah, Jake. Take care, Jake.
Bye, Jake.
Bye, Jake.
All right. Well, I think we've an hour and 15 minutes in. We've covered all the matches this week.
Yeah,
that's not bad. It was just being it longer. So now we get to speculate.
Yeah, coming up. Do you want me to bring up the picture real quick or
no?
Hey.
All right.
Next week, huh? All right.
Yes, next week, starting out with Alex Damon versus Jen Kempe. So we kind of talked about this briefly, but let's get your guys' set decision. Who do you think's winning that?
I have no idea because I don't know Jen. I don't know her enough to really say either way. I mean, so since I don't know her, I have to default to think that Alex is going to win. But that's only because I don't know when Jen could pull a Parker and be perfect. I have no idea. It's tough to say. I know that Damon is ready to go, but
just to clarify, I don't know if she can pull a Parker, but I know she's. I've seen her matches, and she is really solid. She's pretty darn close. I'm just curious to see her be under the lights. Again, that's a whole different conversation. And Parker, obviously, he's very comfortable, working under pressure and everything. I don't know how Jen's going to be working under pressure. I do know that knowledge is there. It's just whether or not with the people surrounding her, if she's going to be comfortable.
There you go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel we're I don't know her well enough. I don't watch the fan leagues, unfortunately. And so I'm just going to go with who I know. And I think Damon's got it, especially if he took to some studying after his first IG match. If he worked on some things, he could be scarier this time. So very loosely, am I thinking Damon might pull it.
That's a good point by Ryan Payne. It's a very good point because we don't know her. And now, I mean, I don't think Alex knows her unless,
yep.
I mean, she has been in the fan leagues, right? She said, so they have, maybe he's gone into that kind of footage and everything. I don't know if he has it. So maybe if he's gone to the tape and knows her better than everybody else, then maybe that's the case. But if he goes up against her and he doesn't know what she's good at, that makes it hard.
Yeah. If I had put money on it, though, I would confidently put Jen, though, right now.
Wow, that's impressive.
Very confidently.
I got to add something. Dean, I didn't not give him credit. I just said the simple fact is that he's Rookie of the Year right now because he's had more matches. And that's just a fact. It's a fact. It's not that he doesn't have no credit. I'm giving him credit. I'm giving all the credit. He's done very well in his matches. I'm just
he's done better. Yeah, he's right now, as of now, because of the matches alone, he's a better competitor, all around a better competitor than Parker.
I have said that if it ended right now, he would win Rookie of the Year. I'm just saying that give Parker and Barbarian equal amounts of matches, and that I think it might be.
We'll reevaluate.
That's what I'm saying. I'm giving Goddard credit. He has credit.
He's not going to get Rookie of the Year unless he gets a belt. That's it.
Goddard or
no Parker.
Yeah, that's possibly true.
Goddard could be Rookie of the Year without getting a belt, though.
That's possibly true. But I think Barbarian give Barbarian more matches, and that could also reevaluate the things.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, you told me right now, Barbarian versus Goddard, who wins that match? I'm saying Barbarian every day every day of the week and twice on Sunday. At this
That's
point,
a lot of confidence.
that's the comp 7 Barbarian at this point, though. I don't think it'll be a knockout or a TKO. I just think that Barbarian will beat him. But, right now he is. So.
Okay. All right. Next match to talk about, which we also talked about briefly, but we could go into a little bit more. Knapsack versus Cabrera. I'm gonna go with Cabrera. I think he can. I think he's a way stronger Star Wars competitor than we give him credit for. I don't know what Knapsack's been up to lately because he hasn't been competing. I don't know if he has maintained and gotten as like Scrimshaw has, or if he's been focusing on other things and maybe a little bit rusty. I don't know, but I'm going with
competing. He doesn't care about competing. That's the thing. That's why Ace is going to win. He doesn't study. I
gotta tell you,
it's not a priority for him.
When we predicted the Star Wars tournament last time on call back a couple weeks ago, I said the exact same thing. I said Ken doesn't care about the match. He really doesn't give a fuck. He just is there because he was asked to. He loves to make a promo. He loves talking Star Wars. He'll do it and he'll play. Yeah. It's got the basis. But Ace, and I thought Ace is more hungrier for it, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. But after seeing Scrimshaw play against Damon, or against Dimalanta, I actually think they're very similar competitors. I think Knapsack and Scrimshaw are very similar competitors. If Knapsack plays to the level that Scrimshaw played, he beats Ace. Does he? I don't know. But he does a Star Wars podcast every week. He is a former Star Wars champion.
So, doesn't Ace as well?
Not anymore. He was on Jedi Council for a bit, but I don't think he does Star Wars.
I thought he was part of one. Oh.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm probably mixing him up with Andrew Dimalanta because I know he does.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he does. He was on Jedi Council with Ken for a while. But Ken has base knowledge that's hard to ignore. So if I had to make a prediction, I think before I did say Ace. I might be switching to Ken. Just because he has such a great base knowledge. It's hard to argue against that kind of base knowledge in this kind of match. You're talking against someone of the caliber of Laura Kelly or Andrew Dimalanta or Alex Damon. Mm-hmm. That's not enough. But he went. I mean, this is a guy. Knapsack went toe to toe with Whitwer.
Yeah,
he didn't study for that either.
That's a whole different situation. It was an Iron Man match.
He never studied.
That doesn't matter.
How does it not matter?
Yeah. No,
also,
it's neither here or there because it's not a regular Schmoedown match.
Whitwer is
a match. It was an Iron Man match. It's completely different formation, so we can't compare the two.
But Whitwer is considered the greatest champion outside of Alex Damon.
But that was old Star Wars.
It really doesn't. It's moot point. It's a completely different format.
I don't think Whitwer would carry himself as far now than he did then. I don't think he went against Damon.
Yeah.
He beat him before.
Damon is like, okay, so he won what is it called? The Dragon Con one, which is.
But Whitwer beat Damon in the 5-man match or whatever.
Yeah. But Whitwer also seriously screwed up multiple things. Like he lost the 5-way matches and stuff too. I don't think Whitwer would carry himself as strongly now than he did then. I mean, like I feel like Star Wars has gotten stronger since he was the bigwig in the league.
I also don't think
Sam Whitwer's the guy. He's telling Dave Filoni what to write in Star Wars sometimes. He's actually on he's
having good ideas and stuff doesn't. You're not going to get overconfident and then say a quote like 3 times wrong and then because he didn't do great at the celebration one. I mean, he was fine, but I mean, was that what Campia won?
Campia won.
Or was it Ken?
There. But Campia, no, Knapsack won that one.
Yeah. So
true. And he was knocked out. He was knocked out before the finals. He had one bad pull. That's right. Actually, I remember that one pull. He was the Admiral. Captain Piet.
And if you have one bad pull, you're going to lose nowadays.
I agree. I totally agree.
That's why we know Adam and Molly. She's clearly has that core knowledge, but she's not gonna beat Andrew, unless she changes something, unless she improves to significantly.
He's been heavily involved in Star Wars since he's left, so he's just been all in Star Wars the whole time.
Yeah.
So
I don't feel like being in a show with a Star Wars necessarily means you're more absorbed in someone that talks about it as deeply as Damon does. Damon tears it apart and breaks down details and things. Whitwer just needs to know what's happening in the scene he's in, which I'm not saying he doesn't know more stuff like that. I'm just saying I don't feel like that's a benefit. I do not feel like that's strong.
Yeah, he's not actively talking about the history. He's not talking about droids or anything like that actively. He's involved with it, yes, being at conventions and stuff like that. But there's a difference between doing that and having like a podcast and talking about it every other day.
I guess, but if you talk to Dave Filoni, who's worked about him, he'll tell you that Sam Witwer knows just what he does. He talks about this stuff all the time. He's nonstop talking.
He's also
has he talked to Damon?
But is he talking about the future, hypothetical future?
Yeah,
he's talking about canon. He's like talking about canon, what happened in like continuity wise and stuff like that. He's talking about this.
Until Filoni talks to him and Damon and like judges like comparisons, I don't see that.
No, until I'm just saying I know that he's beaten Damon before, so until Damon beats him, I don't think that he can really say definitively either way. That's just all I'm saying.
Whitwer's also involved with things other than, Star Wars.
Absolutely.
So when he's involved in Star Wars, awesome. He clearly has all the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, as far as how actively he's able to retract that, and also like retain a lot of that active information, like on the level that we demand our Star Wars competitors to nowadays, that's a very different conversation. So obviously he does know it, but can he recall something like this in a heartbeat? I don't know.
And also, I'd like to point out, like what Lucas said, is his skin itchy because we're talking about him in Schmodown context. That's the thing. He has no interest in Schmodown. He didn't really have interest. He thought it was just a fun little thing he was going to do once and quit, something like that. So he doesn't have that drive that people who are actively involved in Schmodown do, because it's just a casual thing to him, which knowing Star Wars conversationally and knowing how to answer trivia questions, I feel are different ways of using that knowledge. And that's how Ken is. He has this knowledge, but it's not necessarily channeled into trivia competition. Mm-hmm. I feel like that. I feel like, yeah. I still think Fate not suck, but I think Damon's going to destroy whoever comes up against him anyway. So
you think Alex Damon's going to beat whoever wins this tournament anyway? Well,
no. If it's Dimalanta, different story. But if it was either Ace or Ken that got up there against him, but
okay.
Ace. My money's on Ace.
You're going Ace. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that Ken wants it enough. I don't think he actively cares all that much about it. If anything, I would be surprised if he's like, I want to lose, therefore I want to take on the management role, if anything, potentially. I could see that being something that he would be more striving for.
I definitely think he doesn't want to. I don't think he cares about winning. Yeah. Well, I just think that he loves Star Wars so much that, and he's played the game enough that he knows the game, so I think he could very well take it. I wonder if Ace isn't going to be a little, I don't know, intimidated by Ken in a way. Ace has always been looked up to Ken. You had Jedi Council together. He's worked with him a lot. I'm going up again. I mean, it's a fun thing for Ace, but at the same time, it's kind of like, this is the guy who got me into Star Wars, like Jedi Council stuff and that kind of thing as well. I'd be interested to see if that'll get inside Ace's head a little bit.
But Ace has also been actively involved with Schmodown behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's true.
As long as Ken has, if not longer.
I'm just talking Star Wars specifically. But
he has been, though, within Star Wars as well.
No, they did. Absolutely did. You're right. That's what I'm saying. I think that I could be talking out of my ass there. I totally think I'm just throwing some situations out there to see what happens. But as Chris doesn't know, that could be. He did say he had a perfect game in the Ace versus Cavito match. Now, was he just saying that though, Chris, or did he actually do it? I don't know. It's easy to come out and
but
go.
Also, when I'm playing along with Schmodown, I do great. You put me in the actual thing, you know what I mean? Like, when the pressure's off, you play differently. Like, you know what I mean? Just because you know it when you're not playing live and the pressure's not on you doesn't necessarily mean. Also, you know what I mean? It just, I don't know.
Well, also, like when we, as fans, when we watch these matches, we're able to read questions. Mm-hmm. The competitors can't do that, obviously. And that's usually the big thing that really kind of changes it for competitors. Like a lot of people in the fan leagues and beyond think that they would be the best competitor. They'd be at championship level if they ended up transferring over to Schmodown. But realistically, it's a whole different ballgame, not only because of the external pressure and it being, being recorded and everything actively, but also because you're not reading it. I mean, like you're not reading the names. Everything's phonetically. So if you hear like an accent, you're screwed. Mm-hmm. Or I mean, that just makes it a little more difficult. But reading a question, you were able to you can see the names, you can see the years, you can see the entire question rather than just like hearing it and trying to react to it.
I'm going Ken. After all that, I've changed. Right. I said Ace last time when I went through my Star Wars thing, but like I said, after seeing Scrimshaw, I think Ken has the base knowledge to get to at least the next round. Mm-hmm. Might be a different story against someone like Laura Kelly or against Dimalanta in like the finals if we made it that far. But I'm going to go Ken against Ace.
Interesting. I can see that.
Change it. So, I don't know.
I'm
just hoping to sing your promo from him, and that's all I care about.
I would also love to find out if this is actually all like a ploy on Ken's part, where he's just being a mega heel and he's been actively studying and everything this entire time. And he's just like, yeah, you thought it was done, but I'm coming in, guys. I'm going for the belt again. And I would love to see that happen. I really would, because I loved Ken as a competitor. He was so good when he turned heel. So good.
So here's a question for you now. We have time on since we're talking about Ken right now. He's in the Drews. Who do we think is going to manage the Drews? We got to decide soon, I would assume, because it's going to be
who I think and who I want are very different.
Okay.
I think Ken. Who I want, Brienne Chandler.
Chandler.
Yeah. Okay. Who are some of the other people that are being discussed?
I haven't really seen anybody really officially discussed yet. That's the thing. I mean, Jay Washington threw his hat against.
I can see maybe like a Mama Divorce situation and Grace and Cage doing like some kind of pseudo fight situation, and Grace being like, "You suck. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to go over to the Droogs and I'm going to kick your asses." Oh, thanks, guys.
Are you behind the scenes? Are you maybe managing? And you can't say anything yet?
That would be awesome, but I know that's not going to happen realistically. That would be cool though. I would love to, but I don't know. I don't think that would ever happen. But like I mentioned, I think it would be really cool to see Grace come forward. I think she's definitely thinking that. Nice. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate you.
Oh my gosh! Pictured Alex and Shannon Barney team up running corruption.
I would probably dye my hair blonde or something just to make myself look less like her. She is so beautiful. Like
she is.
Like she is so stunning. She's like one of those people like you see her in person and you're like, oh shit. You know? I mean, it's just it's like really like almost like it kind of it's very intimidating. But we're both very similar in style when it comes to management styles from what I've been told. As far as like aggression level and intensity when it comes to new promos and stuff like that. And so I feel like I would have to like make myself visually very different or completely take on a new identity situation. So I don't know.
Nice. So anyway, if it's not Alex Shashak, who's your prediction on? Who do you want to see happen? Who do you think is going to see happen?
I would probably say Brienne is probably my guess, honestly.
That's what you think it's going to be.
I really do think so, because she is pretty involved, behind the scenes and everything pretty significantly. So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Joe, you want to see happen?
I think so. I think she's really great. I think she would be a shoo-in. I know some other people have mentioned Jay Washington or Jonathan Harris. Mm-hmm. I think Jonathan Harris would be an easy slide-in manager. I don't think he has the intensity to be a manager in today's kind of season situation. But yeah. But also, I mean, we haven't really seen Jonathan really succeed before all that much.
That's true. So. I don't think it's going to be Jonathan Harris. I don't think it's going to be Jay Washington. I just don't think.
I don't think so either.
Brienne Chandler is an awesome choice. I would do anything to see Brienne Chandler in the Showdown. But I know that she's got a busy lifestyle right now. I don't know if she can totally to it. There you go. She's moving.
Oh, where's she moving to?
I guess you mentioned moving. I'm not sure, but so I don't know what happens with that. But that's another thing too.
I hear so many people.
I love that team. I'm all for it. I'm all for Ed Harris being the new manager.
Ed Harris wheel slice. Let's make it
I
happen.
love that too. But Brienne also has that's true to Ryan says that Brienne would rather stay on the desk, and I do love her on the desk. She is great.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna say I think it's gonna be Ken, and I want it to be Ken. I think Ken's a perfect manager to slide in. He's a good person. He's already involved this runner enough that he can kind of do it pretty seamlessly. He's got people with respect to her. He's already managed before. He knows what no one is. So I that's what I think we're going to go with. I'm hoping that's the case. But that's what I'm going to go with. But then that also would beg, if it was to be Ken, that would also beg the question: who's going to manage Ken for the Star Wars
when he plays? Yeah.
He plays.
Again, I think he's gonna. I mean, like even if he wins against Ace, I know he will lose to Laura Kelly though.
But who's going to manage him? If he goes as manager,
people are managers. Sure, it's preferable that managers can be there, but there have been many matches so far this year where managers are not present.
But somebody else takes the place though. Like we had James step in. We're saying who's going to step in.
That's right.
Yeah, it's probably my money is probably going to be. Wait, I don't even know who's on the other faction right now.
You don't think it's going to be our asshole, do you?
I wouldn't be surprised if
I could totally see it being
fucking Brandon Hannah.
I could totally.
Or heck, I would be surprised if Whitney Seibold actually popped in. I can see that, honestly.
So I don't see it being Giraldi. Seibold, maybe Seibold. Warfather, no. Rebecca, no. Bonnie sure is all not.
My money's on Hannah.
Fucking Brandon Hannah.
Yeah.
Fucking Brandon Hannah.
It's funny because some people have said during streams like Kaiser came on and said that he thought that Brandon Hannah would be a good manager someday too.
One day.
I don't know. What was that?
One day.
Maybe for this day, it's like a teaser. Yeah, that's true. James White did have his back in New York. But of course, James White's not there anymore.
Yeah,
so won't be James White for that. James White also happened to be there at the live event. I think that's part of the reason why.
It's funny how things kind of just not really worked out for him, considering, he was very loyal to Brandon, to him for a minute.
Oh, that would be awesome. But that would never happen. But
that will never happen.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I would love to see it, but yeah, that will never happen.
Yeah, it can't be Video Drew because she's in the dungeon now. She used to be
Bruce. Yeah.
Not to mention, Drew has mentioned that she would
she'd love to manage, she said at one point.
She would love to manage. She said that she would love to, help train and do everything and write questions and everything. She even mentioned she would take a step back from competing if it meant that she could manage.
Yeah, she said she'd rather manage, I think, but she's a good person to still continue.
Rachel Cushing, just going back to Rachel Cushing, and not to say that we don't want to see her as manager. I know all of us would love to see her as a manager. She's not as super comfortable being behind the mic, and especially in a heel role. And if she were brought on as manager, they would have to do a complete change of storyline of where the direction of Brandon Hannah and the Droogs and everything are going in right now, because Rachel is very vocal about how she doesn't like doing like promos and stuff.
Right.
So
yeah,
Yeah,
it is destined. It could be Mance or JTE. I just kind of feel looking at the list more and more. Hannah is probably the most talked about Droog right now. Outside of Ken is the second most probably, but like at this point, so you're going to ride that while it's hot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think it's going to be Hannah in the back now at this point. But fucking Hannah, more screen time for him.
I can see Mance as a manager, to be honest.
You could.
Yeah. Or Jason Inman. Oh, great suggestion. He could whip out a promo like no other if he just like snuck in.
Didn't he not want to be involved though, or something?
Yeah, he wanted to be involved initially, but he didn't have the time to study to the intensity that he wanted to, because he ended up being involved as he just got like a huge project to be a writer on a TV show at the time, so he couldn't compete as much as he wanted or study. Mm-hmm. But he has mentioned that he would love to come back at some point, but he just doesn't know as what.
Gotcha. No one mentioned Emma. No one mentioned Emma because she was set to return before she left. Yeah. I don't think she is coming back to this. There's a reason why she left.
Yeah, she doesn't want to. Yeah.
At least not this year. Maybe in a future season, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah. I think she hasn't really liked the
It's true.
She hasn't really like Emma. It seems like she doesn't really like the direction, the intensity that the sports focused atmosphere that Schmodown is really taking, and that's just not her wheelhouse. And so it makes sense that she wants to take a step back and focus on her other endeavors. Absolutely.
Rachel said the same thing. Rachel said the same thing. That's why you're never out of ever going to see Rachel come back. She'll do exhibition matches maybe, but that's about it.
Oh my gosh, I was praying to see her in the LOTR match.
That would have been gold. That would have been awesome.
So
good. So
alas, we didn't. But we couldn't have asked for a better match anyway.
No, it was a great match.
Yeah.
Great match.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say, did we miss any of the other ones? I feel like we did. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
We got Machine versus Humphrey.
Yes.
It's not much for me at this point. I mean, because Humphrey is
that's a difficult one.
Humphrey is kind of an unknown quantity at that point. Very much unknown quantity. He's like Greg Alba was in IG, but they do have a solid basis in IG. They talk about IG stuff all the time, but whether or not she could.
Well, Smets has even mentioned it in the past that he thinks that Janine is a great IG competitor. She just doesn't compete. Like, she helps train with him pretty consistently. And they're really great friends and everything. And he's mentioned very consistently about how talented she is when it comes to IG. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's had the core knowledge for a while. But now the deep cuts, we'll see.
My instinct says Janine. Because she's got knowledge. She's played a hell of a lot. She's well versed in the game. She's one of those people that have been on the cusp for a while. It's got to turn her way eventually because she's good. When you're as good as she is, and she keeps not quite getting there, you got to feel like it's going to turn eventually. She keeps trying. And Humphrey, I don't think, is well versed enough at this point to really do the kind of damage that would need to be done.
Yeah.
But I didn't think Alba was going to do it either. So I mean, who knows exactly? But
which Alba did great, but he was also, we saw how not great Warfather did. So let's say if Alba was against the Machine, would he have won? I kind of don't think so. I think Janine would have beat him.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I don't think my gut is telling me Humphreys for some reason, and I can't explain why. Because I totally agree. Her record does not reflect her knowledge. She's completely talented. Her knowledge is there. It's rough how sometimes, like, how it comes down to, like, in the third round and everything. It just, not to mention, she consistently goes up really against really great competitors. She went up against, like, Riley, like, in our first singles match this season. Like, good Lord, not easy. And so,
she's never had a gimme match. That's the thing. She's never had one of those matches. It's like a walkover. She's always facing consistently solid players,
former belt holders. I mean, like, she has always had very solid lineup of people she's been competing against.
Exactly.
Yes, Danny, you're absolutely right. Even the women would all have to have mustaches.
Would you draft me with that in that case?
You'd have to grow a mustache.
I do have a mustache.
Yeah.
I shave. Like, every few days I shave.
You can't shave. You got to darken it maybe a little bit.
No, I can pull a Frida though and, like, put ash over it or something.
Perfect.
Defy beauty standards.
Mustache has power. I'm telling you, there's a lot of power in them. So, but yeah, the other thing about Humphrey, going back to the match, Humphrey had that great free for all where everybody opened their eyes to him. He, like, was the MVP. He lasted like 10, 15 rounds or something like that. Really did well, but ever since then, I haven't really seen him do much to be, excited about. He's so he's kind of an inconsistent player as well. It's hard. So it's hard. It's gonna be hard to tell. It's gonna be hard to tell.
I agree. It would be hard to tell.
That is pretty good. That is a pretty damn. We got connected a little bit more.
All
right. A little bit further.
You pull it off very well.
There you go. Yeah. I'm drafting you. I don't think you've ever looked sexy. I'm definitely drafting you. I'm definitely drafting you.
Alex, that's what we're.
That's a good one.
Your mustache and my mustache is a very different thing.
You can't listen to me. You never know what's going to happen. Giving away my secrets. That's how I got the perfect mustache. I have to just color it in a little bit better. I don't know. I hope so.
Cross. I mean, like,
This is her new look now.
Oh God, things are deteriorating quickly.
All right. Well, any final thoughts on this upcoming match, or are we ready to move on to Called in the Network?
I think we got nothing else this match. I got to predict Janine. I think it's gonna be. I think it should be a close, fun match, but Janine's gonna have the edge.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
My gut is telling me, no, Ryan, no. How dare you? How dare you? Let me say, my gut is telling me Humphreys for some reason, but I really, really would not be surprised if. I know you can't take me seriously right now, can you?
I always take you seriously, Alex. Okay.
I think more seriously now.
Should I get like my own like skin toned like marker then and just try to cover it?
No,
Leave it.
But what was I thinking? I wouldn't be surprised if Janine knocks it out of the park, honestly. I would really love for her to I would love to be surprised and see IG is where Janine thrives.
It'd be amazing. It'd be awesome.
I would love that. And not to mention, I am craving more female IG competitors by the second. I am just
Me too.
It'd be great. It will be awesome. No doubt. So.
All right. Well, coming up next, Call to the Network, where we talk about all the awesome shows we have upcoming on our channel this week, starting with tomorrow. Paul, what's happening tomorrow?
We had tomorrow. Tomorrow is Chill to Action, our show every Monday, sometimes Sunday. But we have the guy we've been talking a lot about today, the Barbarian. Craig Green is going to be on Chill to Action tomorrow. I'm looking forward to asking him all about the IG tournament and how he's going to stomp Ben Goddard. And we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be so exciting. He's the best. I can't wait to learn more about him, too. Like, he's one person I'm fascinated by. Like, I want to know his story.
You're a sweetheart. For sure.
All right. And then coming up later that week, Alex, when and what is happening on Schmobates?
Excuse me, I'm painting, so like, focus.
That is true.
I'm trying to do this like backwards right now, and it is a struggle bus. Anyway, I'm just like, anyway, regardless. I'm just having a good old time. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So on Wednesday, it's gonna be so much fun. Brianne Chandler, speaking of potential managers, Brianne Chandler is gonna be my co-host. It's gonna be really fun. She messaged me asking if she can help come up with questions. And I was like, yes.
I love that.
Usually they usually I come up with the questions, and I always mention, because sometimes they ask sometimes they want to be involved in like the last question maybe because of their fun questions, but they don't want to go into like the the other questions. But I am super excited because she is my co-host. But they're gonna be having the just to let you guys know where we are in the Schmobates tournament of champions. James White is going to go up on Wednesday, and the following week it's going to be Bibiani versus Danielle Ramirez. And so we're coming up into, is that the semi-quarterfinals? What is that, quarterfinals? I don't know. I can't do math.
I don't know sports.
Is that quarterfinals? I don't know. I mean, like, is because there's 4 competitors, does that mean it's quarterfinals?
Quarterfinals. Yes, quarterfinals.
Okay. And then I was like thinking, like the other one, I was like, what is that? I don't know. Anyway, I'm so cool. But that's going to be a fun time. We're doing that at 9:30 Central. It's going to be James White against Ben Bateman. They're both sitting at 2-0. So they both have perfect records. So I'm excited to see that, really go out. And we'll see how that happens. But also, like I mentioned, if you want to, I would prefer if you come and hang out and do that, because we need people to vote to determine our winners. So just
can I take a second here and say, after the last Schmobates you had versus Billy and the Beast, Billy made some comments. I just want to address them. After the tournament's over, well beyond the year, if Billy wants to step in the ring with me, I am always willing to take down that blowhard.
You don't deserve to go up against Billy. He is currently sitting at 2-1. You have not
1-0. Oh, God damn it. 1-0.
When did you play in an official schmo bait mat with the same format that we did today?
That was a segment. Hey, does that mean Mark Riley wasn't champion? Mark Riley would play when Schmodown was on the Schmo's No Show.
They had the same format when it came to the questions and everything, though. They had the same rules. They don't have that now.
Really
They've
wants
changed
me?
the rules.
I'll take him. Take him on. I want in.
Point is, he's played in 3 debates. You've played in 1 debate. You still need a.
Yeah, you don't know how I can play a debate. I'll kick his teeth in.
You say that. I don't know. I gotta. Yeah, that's true. I would love to see that happen. If you are also interested in competing on Schmobates, please DM me. Send us, call us out on Twitter at Call to Action Pod. I personally run the Call to Action Podcast Twitter handle, and so let us know who you want to go up against, and that you want to compete in Schmobates in general. So it's a fun time. Just saying.
And real quick, I will say a couple weeks on Chill. We also do have next week after that we're gonna have Laura Kelly come on so we can talk about the Star Wars tournament. And then a week off, and then not a week off. We don't know about the next week, but then on July 6th we're gonna have Sabrina Ramirez come back. So look forward to those as well. And I'll take on David B. I'll take on anybody who wants to take me on because I will beat you all.
I can't wait to see you lose. So
You don't have control of that though. Just the Twitter votes do. So
that's true.
All I do is turn Twitter.
But rules change, don't they?
I wouldn't put that past you.
Okay. Also, I'm pretty excited that right after we wrap up the tournament, we will be starting a new rule. So it's going to be really fun. I can't wait.
Geez, all right, I like that. Can't wait to hear about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. And then later this week, of course, we will have Call to Action Live on Sunday, recapping what happens this week. And Alex and I were kind of talking about maybe doing a ladies' night this next week or the week after.
Girl, I am in so much need at ladies' night. I can't tell you.
We have a great idea for a ladies' night.
Do we?
It's the best ladies' night theme ever.
Yes, it is. Okay, Kelsey, please tell him. Please tell him.
Mustache makeup tutorial.
Okay.
No.
Sorry.
Okay, what it's going to be called is Ladies' Night, The Final Girls.
It's going to be like, we're talking about horror movies and our favorite horror, thriller, psychological stuff. When it comes to like true crime, horror movies, books, all that good stuff. It's going to be so much fun.
That's what I want to tune into definitively. I love that. I love that idea. Mm-hmm. Can't wait. I love this horror.
I also just like miss generally hanging out with my ladies. Me too. Paul, you can get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm always there somewhere.
You say that, but are you?
Always in the background.
You wish you were. You wish you were.
Strike me down. I'll be more.
And Danny, each of us are final girls from each different movie franchise. Oh my gosh, what if we were assigned ourselves like franchises that we were final girls from? Like someone was like the final girl from the Scream franchise or something. Or like another one would be like the final girl from Halloween, of course. Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, any of that good stuff, So Last House on the Left. Yes.
I love it.
Descent.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited for it. All right. I think that's everything for Call to the Network. So we have our last thing for this evening, which is questions from the chat. So get your questions in. Streamlabs and Super Chats are prioritized for questions, but get your questions in. Schmodown related. It can be not. You could have me and Alex talk about horror movies a little bit more for a little bit because it's so awesome. Whatever.
That's very true. That's actually very true.
What would you guys do on a guys' night?
Yeah, I want to know.
Paul, what would you do?
Actually, the funny thing is, everything I've watched for ladies' night, I pretty much do the same type of thing. I would love to do a final girl call night. I'd love to do the Harry Potter house thing you did at one point. Although we have to try to be, I don't know.
No, you scream Ravenclaw.
Really?
Scream Ravenclaw.
Really?
Now I say that because of several reasons. One of the the pillars behind being a Ravenclaw is not only to be very not only just focus on intelligence, but you're very logical. You like to think outside of the box when it comes to creativity. You're creative when you solve puzzles kind of thing. You're a creative problem solver essentially, but also you like to contribute to a team. You're a team player and you like helping others reach their goals as well. So whereas you can be ambitious, but at the same time you're not an asshole about it. So if that's not Paul, I don't know what is.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I mean, not to mention some of the really awesome wizards are in Ravenclaw.
That's true. Mm-hmm. That is very true. Kim says she's a Ravenclaw, and she says I'm probably more Hufflepuff, but she says I'm a loyal guy. But
she does know you a lot more than we do.
Lucas is all different.
Lucas is Hufflepuff, so people can be, even spouses can be wrong.
Yep,
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
One more thing I'll say, on Dude's Night, shots would definitely happen on Dude's Night. That's absolutely 110%.
Are you saying shots don't happen on Ladies' Night, Ryan?
No, I think you're just saying that they definitively would happen.
I think alcohol in general is just C2A in general. It doesn't matter who's on.
Everyone probably thinks they're alcoholics at this point. It's.
All right, let's go through any questions we've had so far. Keep getting those questions in. Let me go back a little bit. I don't think this is actually meant to be a question here, but is it cats or mustaches? That's a good question.
Like Cats, what, the musical, or Cats like the animal?
Probably both. Maybe the movie. Yeah.
Like, if I like Cats, does it mean I have to like the musical? Like, am I into like cats committing suicide or what?
Good question. I don't know.
Well, Jellicoe Cats. That's the whole thing. The behind Cats.
I didn't like the musical Cats. I haven't seen the movie, but I never really liked the musical.
I mean, it is. That's the whole thing with the musical / movie. It's like they choose one cat to be like pretty much that dies and gets reborn. Essentially, it's like it's weird.
Yeah, not sure. That's.
Oh, Robert, you have no idea. It's Ed Harris in that movie. I will whoop your ass.
Ooh,
I'm up here.
You know what I would love to see you versus him in a video chronic.
That's what we actually have talked about that. So hopefully that will happen.
What I was gonna say is I will normally root for PLD lose. Just kidding, but The Rock, he's gonna kick your butt.
Yeah.
He will kick anyone's butt. The Rock.
I go to Durmstrang? What? That'd be pretty baller. Do you know how amazing that school is? Just saying. That is like awesome school. I'm just saying, but whatever.
Let's see.
Whatever. One of the most prestigious wizarding schools in all of Europe, but whatever. I'm sorry. What? Here for it.
All right. I had one in here. Worst remake you ever saw? Worst remake I ever saw?
Ooh, I would have to look that up. I feel like that should be a category. Remakes.
Off the top of my head, I might be wrong here, but I had the Point Break remake was pretty bad.
Oh, that was so awful.
I never saw Point Break, but I'll take your word for
it. Or the new one?
I haven't seen either.
Ooh. Have you seen Fast and the Furious?
I've only seen the first one.
That's the pretty much ripoff of Point Break. So you've pretty much seen Point Break. You've seen a worse version of Point Break. No, that's the first remake. Really, to be honest with you. But
Aladdin, and
I liked Aladdin actually.
I think it's fine. I really didn't like it. I understand what it was trying to do, but Lion King to me,
I did not like The Lion King.
That one was rough.
Never saw that one.
Off the top of my head, I'm gonna go with the new Ghostbusters. I liked that they were trying to do something new with the ladies like that. I just didn't like it.
Oh, that wasn't really a remake.
Oh, wait, I got one. 2015's Fantastic Four.
That's the one's hard to say that a remake.
It is a remake. It is a remake.
It's just a new adaptation.
Okay, so reboot
More like
somehow.
a reboot is probably the better term, I would think.
And a remake means you're making the same story, the same exact like.
Okay.
It's a fine line. Comic's hard to do because the history of comic books too, so it's kind of hard to call it a remake. Like Batman Begins isn't a remake of Batman, for example, even though they tell similar stories. It's just a different adaptation of the property.
Oh wait, no wait. Around the World in 80 Days. Jackie Chan.
I haven't seen that one in forever. I can't remember. Is it bad? I can't remember. I was pretty drunk when I saw it, I think.
It's awful. It's like the worst movie ever.
Is that bad? That's sad because I like Jackie Chan.
I know, me too.
All right. Anything else? Any other questions? I don't see anything.
Wait, what about Red Dawn? Red Dawn's pretty bad. The remake of Red Dawn?
I like the remake of Red Dawn.
Because Chris Hemsworth is in it.
That's right. I remember that now. Yeah, I remember hearing bad things, but I never saw it.
Conan the Barbarian?
Oh, yeah, that was
with Jason Momoa? Oh, my gosh. I saw that for the first time, like, in February. Oh.
And sure, I will tell Ferris to his face about that. Don't worry. I think I have told him that to his face.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anything else?
Wait, Robert, I'm confused. I just want to double check. Are we just like not acknowledging that it was made, or you're saying that it was never remade, just in general? I assume you're saying you're insinuated like you're not acknowledging it. That's what it sounds like. I just want to double check. Sometimes I can't read that when people say that.
Tone is lost in text.
Message is thingies.
We remade it. Well, yeah. It was kind of remade.
He's not acknowledging it.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Never remade. Okay, that's good. Just like Blues Brothers never had a sequel. That's not one.
Ooh, wait, The Mummy, the recent 2017's The Mummy.
You know that it's hard again.
That's a remake. That's a call.
It's not a. There's a reason why it's not a remake. It's hard to have a remake out of an existing property like that because a remake, because Mummy comes from like fiction and folktale, so it's hard to remake. Like there's a fine line. I can't figure out the way to describe it like that one.
Well, okay, so if it includes the same characters, the same storyline, I think it is. It includes like the same characters.
There's no same characters in The Mummy. It's just the mummy, the bad guy.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. What about Spike Lee's Old Boy?
That is a bad remake from what I've heard. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it's a bad remake. But that is a remake, yes.
I've not seen that.
I've heard it's horrible. So.
All right. I saw a pretty cool question. Where'd it go though?
Charlie's Angels.
I actually liked all the Charlie's Angels.
Me too.
I didn't love the newer one, but I liked it.
Yeah, I liked the newer one. I didn't love it, but I really genuinely liked it. Quite a bit. Did you guys see the newer Flatliners?
Like the original. The new one.
The original Flatliners has like a huge cult following, but the newer one, it came out like late last year. Like Ellen Page, Diego Luna.
Yeah, I never seen the trailers for it. I think it's in my queue to watch eventually. Because I like the cast. I did like the cast from what I heard, but
wait, RoboCop.
I didn't see the new one.
The remake of RoboCop. No one. Okay.
I didn't see it.
Y'all suck, man. Come on now.
Remakes are usually terrible, so I don't go see them.
That's fair. I don't blame you. But also there's Ben-Hur, so that's pretty awful.
You're saying?
Oh, I thought it was a complete remake.
I don't know. I didn't like I said.
So that's the thing. A lot of the new, like, instead of remaking, they'll like very subtly make it a sequel, but like they've pretty much always do it by acknowledging there was another. You know
better what? It's a better way to plan. I got you. That's a good one there. Total Recall remake was not very good.
Yeah.
Fine.
All right. Here's a question I think is pretty cool. Favorite documentary as of right now?
Oh God. Man.
I've seen some good ones. I watch a lot of true crime docs, so that's mostly what ones I'll probably talk about.
I haven't seen any documentaries, honestly.
I watched 13th. 13th was a fantastic. So if you haven't watched that, go watch that. There's a movie called, it's not new, but it's on HBO. It's called There's Something Wrong with Aunt Diane. I think I've talked about before about the wreck that happened on the Taconic freeway in New York. And that is a fascinating documentary. So I've watched that one a couple times.
I almost actively avoid documentaries personally.
Trading with the Strangers, super good. Free Solo was super good.
Oh yeah, those are available on Hulu. I want to say, is that right?
Yeah. And if you like docu-series, McMillions was really good. I just watched the thing about the Epstein docu-series, which was interesting. I didn't actually know that much about him, and that whole scene was disgusting.
Ooh.
I love docu-series.
Robert Adams quite right on that. It's Never Sleep Again. It goes through the entire Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, like from the first movie to all the way through the end. It's so good. And likewise, made by the same people. They did one for Friday the 13th. I can't remember the name of the Friday the 13th one, but that one was actually pretty good too. Crystal Lake Memories, I think it was called. I want to say those are both good. If you like horror movies at all, and like those franchises, there's a lot of meat in those to get into. But I also will pitch, since I'm a big Queen fan, from a couple of years ago, they did a documentary called Days of Our Lives, which was a beautiful and heart-rending documentary from Queen from the beginning all the way up through today. Freddie's death. It's very sad at moments, but it's very powerful also as well. So those are probably the ones I would pitch forth.
I love documentaries. So if you have any suggestions, chat too. Tell me, because I like learning more about things that are happening.
The Lord of the Rings behind-the-scenes documentaries on the Blu-rays are also very, very cool.
Oh yeah, they are.
Very, very cool. I learned a lot about movie making just by watching those. So
it's I would have to see the I never really appreciated the intensity or how difficult world building can be for a film or a franchise could be until I saw the behind the scenes stuff for LOTR with Percy Jackson, and the extent that
Percy Jackson?
I'm sorry?
Did you just say Percy Jackson?
Did I?
I thought you did. Percy Jackson's another movie franchise.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the he's like a kid of a god or something, right?
I was like, that's funny. I mean, Percy Jackson directed Lord of the Rings. But...
Yes, that was actually really good. I actually did not like Taylor Swift at all until I watched that documentary.
I know a lot of people like really dislike her, but I really like
her now after that. She has this whole segment where she's talking about her fighting against this person that's running for government that is like everything is totally against women. Like all the things that she talks about is anti-women, and just hearing Taylor Swift like being really active about it, trying to like protect women's rights in her state. It's, I don't know. Yeah, I have a whole new respect for Taylor Swift.
It really kind of pisses me off, like the amount of flack she gets for writing love songs, which literally that's 95% of music in general, but she in particular gets a lot of flack for it. As if like, and people like kind of be like, oh, one of her 10 boyfriends. Like, are you serious? Like, sure, I'm married. I've been with Lucas for a long time, but if I wasn't married to Lucas, I'm sure I would have 10 boyfriends at least 10 boyfriends at this point, being a 30-year-old woman. I mean, like, calm down. People need to like.
You'd go through Black Widow style.
So, if I dated 10, if I had 10 boyfriends as a 30-year-old, I wouldn't date until I was 19 or 20 years old, and I would just hit my 10th boyfriend, have one a year.
It's true.
So just putting that perspective.
Absolutely. I don't know. I have no problem with her that way. I'm not a big fan of her voice. That's everything. I just don't like her voice. That's fine. Otherwise, she can write about everything she wants. And I like her as a person. She seems like she's really down to earth for the most part and like really committed to being a good person and everything. So I'm more power to her. I'm just not a fan of her songs. That's all. That's what it is. Maybe toe tapping sometimes, but they're just.
They're earworms. They get stuck in your head pretty good.
I love her Reputation album,
I
especially.
do too. I love Reputation.
Oh,
I just don't
Reputation,
understand
that
that's what they
album.
are. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I look through a song, I'm like, yeah, they're fine, but like, I'm like, they just, I don't understand why they're so like universally loved. But that's why she's making the big bucks, and I'm not.
So dang catchy. That's why.
But actually, Ambling Soul wanted to put up a good suggestion: swim team following a father trying to find a way to get his autistic son swim lessons. That's kind of cool. That sounds very cool,
awesome.
actually. I like that idea. I'll take a
it.
look at that and see if it's streaming somewhere. So.
Oh my god!
It's black about being obvious. Who would it? I guess that's true too. I guess that's I can get that being a little flat because taking your dirty laundry public if it becomes that kind of obvious about it.
Here's the thing, though. There was no social media and stuff when the Beatles were around. We probably would have known every single person they were dating and their intimate life stuff if that.
We also would have known how much of an asshole John Lennon is. Because he was a horrible person. But that's a whole other conversation because he was physically, mentally, and sexually abusive to not only his wife and child, but also numerous girlfriends. And he actually went to court about it numerous times. But that's a conversation for a different day. But he wrote some cool lyrics. So, it's fine, right?
Love you, Alex. Paul's dying a little inside.
There's no heaven.
I'm going to let this one go.
You try.
All right. I'll answer this question, Malcolm. I like is it called Love Song or Love Story? It's our song. Yeah, it's Love Song. Our song is the Slam Stream. I can't remember. But anyways, it's on her first album, I believe. I like that one. I think it's called Love Song.
Let's see.
If I had a favorite song, I think it's the same one, actually. I think it's the same one. I know that Butch Walker, who I do like. I don't know if you guys know who he is. Butch Walker did a cover of it. Like, he did a drunken cover of it one day. He got drunk, went to the studio, just turned it out and threw it out there. Mm-hmm. I liked it. I actually liked it a lot. It's not my favorite song by him.
Thank you. Our song. There we go.
What is that song called?
Walker.
No.
Butch Walker covered. Yeah, You Belong With Me. That's what he covered.
I like that one too. I also like Look What You Made Me Do a lot because that one's good.
Great.
That song is great when you're really pissed at people.
In general,
There's something about a good hate song or anger song that gets you able to be very cathartic.
Yeah. And Bad Blood's catchy. My daughter loves Taylor Swift. Not just her music, but that's her fashion icon.
There it is. Yeah. I Did Something Bad. That's the one I like.
Okay.
That one is really lovely to me.
Fair enough. Welcome back, Jake. Welcome back.
We're talking about Taylor Swift. That makes me laugh.
T-Swizzle.
We become a Taylor Swift podcast all of a sudden. So I guess I have to see myself out on that point. That's okay. That's a ladies' night conversation for you guys, Taylor Swift.
Fair enough.
It is. I think she's definitely a lyricist that kind of captures, especially with she just captures a lot of I think she captures anger, overall being pissed very well.
Mm-hmm.
And she writes things about certain relationships where it's just it's not cute to write songs about I did something bad, then why does it feel so good? And the song where she's like, yeah, I actively flew him around the world and I led him on because I found out he was doing a lot of shit to me. And I am going to lead him on and I'm going to break him so hard. And she writes songs about that. And I'm like, girl, you get it.
Relatable.
I feel you.
I thought Alanis was always good at that. Alanis Morissette was always good at that.
I like
yeah.
Question, Taylor Swift or Katy Perry? Okay, first couple albums, I liked Katy Perry better. I really did. I don't like any of Katy Perry's new stuff, at all. I think Taylor Swift's just getting stronger. So.
Ooh, Wildest Dreams. That song is gorgeous. I love Wildest Dreams.
That's a good
I had
song.
to pick one. I would say Katy Perry over Taylor Swift because Katy Perry is a big Queen fan, so I'll give her credit where that's due.
I love the song "You're So Gay." I loved that song for the longest time. That was like the best for a minute.
There's a question for you.
This is my new face, Ferris.
Isn't it lovely?
You're a heel, remember? So you definitely got to twirl the mustache. Yeah.
At the same time.
Oh god.
Yeah. But yeah, Katy Perry. So do you remember like around the time there was like a joke that a demon was taking over all the pop stars? Like they'd some like cut off all their hair and dye it platinum blonde like Miley Cyrus and then go crazy and then they'd be fine. And like as soon as it happened to Katy Perry and she was like that, I haven't liked her since then.
Like California Dreamgirls, like that show was pretty much when she got popular.
Yeah, wait, but then earlier I liked like that album and earlier I like. Anything after that, like that Bon Appetit song I don't like.
No, I don't know. I don't listen to the radio. I don't know any of her new music. I'm not gonna lie.
I've been listening to 80s rock for like 3 weeks, so I don't know what's going on.
I listen to the same 10 albums year round.
Wow.
Like I'm not kidding. I'm like I'm not a music person. I'm really not. Like I listen to the same people, same playlist. Like I'm into like the Into the Wild soundtrack right now. I can't remember by Eddie Vedder. That's a great soundtrack. I love that soundtrack and score overall. That one, I love the Cruel Intentions soundtrack. I still listen to what was that playlist we put together on Spotify, Kelsey?
Or the Call to Action playlist, or was it the Get Up in the Morning Feel Good? I don't remember what we called it, but
yeah, it was like the one that you, me, and Danny we all were able to contribute to.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called.
Still listen to that. I literally do.
How dare you? Yes, Chris, you can time him out. That's fine.
Yeah.
I will prove my older white guy status here, very much so, because my music is very much classic rock of the 70s. Give me Queen, Pink Floyd, Zeppelin.
Oh, yeah.
I go to them nonstop throughout. I come back, I listen to other things in the future, but I always come back to my standbys, long-term trips. Always go for me some 70s, 80s classic rock.
Right now it's 80s, a lot of Van Halen, a lot of Journey, Kiss, Def Leppard, AC/DC. I literally type in 80s rock and then whatever pops up is what I'm listening to.
I got some 90s Shania Twain going.
Ooh.
That don't
impress me much.
So you got the looks behind it.
Got the touch.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, you think you're all right.
Wow, I'm listening to Pink Floyd.
Don't impress me.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good.
The music video was so good too. Oh my gosh. I wanted like a leopard.
Yes.
Full body situation.
Oh man, and then
music video. But
and then the man, I feel like a woman one too. Bum, bum, ba-da-da-dun-dun.
So good.
Save me, Robert.
Going out tonight. I'm feeling all right. Oh. Remember the soundtrack for Coyote Ugly, Kelsey?
Yes. Oh my god. I love that movie. That Leon Ryan.
Other the love skies gonna be with you, and you know it's gonna be around.
Yeah.
I hope I'm getting timed out for this stuff. It didn't sound too much like it. So.
We're not singing it close enough where they'll think.
And yes, Robert, I listened to Adam Hart Mother today, Robert, just for you, just so you know. So I love that band very much. They're one of my favorite bands. Queen's my big one. Pink Floyd is definitely my up there, and Zeppelin is awesome as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we did have a question I saw. If you want to go back to this, Dean Morgan, should spinners and opponent's choice be removed from the virtual wheel since players can't actually spin the wheel, or does it hurt the virtual match?
I'm confused.
Because it still spins.
Yeah, it still spins. Like why?
Yeah, I don't understand that either, Dean. To be honest, I mean, it seems it's whether you spin or digitally spin.
I do know in a championship match they do have the current champion has the option of including it, And by including the spinners and opponent's choice, it definitely does change up your statistics, your abilities, how you strategize going into that match. But I also really kind of determine that off of who you're playing against, honestly. So by replacing it with new categories can be a real risk. So it is hypothetically, statistically easier on you to win, or at least easier to strategize using the opponent's and spinner's choice versus like choosing to opt out and go with like two completely new slices that you don't know about.
Right.
It's hard. Yeah.
Let's see. I agree, Robert. I agree.
Never heard of them.
It's Pink. It's an album. It's Pink Floyd. It's a Pink Floyd album.
I don't know Floyd like at all.
I don't really.
You know Comfortably Numb?
I'm sorry?
Comfortably Numb? Another Brick on the Wall?
I know Another Brick in the Wall, but I didn't. I'm not exaggerating when my parents, I didn't grow up in a music family.
Gotcha.
My parents didn't, like, we played like I said, we played like the same so many albums growing up. Like, so I didn't really branch out all that much musically.
If you ever want to sit down with Pink Floyd, sit down on a night, candles, low key. It's a very low night. If you want to have an edible or something that might actually help your experience, but otherwise,
I've heard.
Very chill, cool thing. So
yeah, my music taste now is very different than my parents was. My mom was country. That was what she listened to, country. And now she listens to K-pop, so it's changed a little bit. But then my dad was Steely Dan, and he got me into the B-52s, and like, so he liked rock, but he didn't like hair metal bands at all. Like, definitely like that was not his thing. He liked Led Zeppelin and things like that. So I do dabble in that a little bit, but I've gone more into the hair metal, classic rock as opposed to
I love me some hair metal, but I also surprisingly actually love musicals as well. I'm surprised.
I love musicals.
I love musicals.
I love one of the soundtracks, but one of the, well, it is soundtracks, but one of the musical soundtracks that I listen to very regularly, I do go back to really regularly, is American Psycho and Heathers. Legally Blonde, I feel like it's really, people don't really look to that musical for being as amazing as it is, and it's fantastic. Yeah. I've cried so many times watching it. But yeah, sorry, don't get me started on musical, girl. We should have like an entire girls' night just talking about musicals.
Yeah. Okay. So after we do our final girls one, we'll then do a musical.
God damn it!
Oh. Yeah. Sorry, Paul.
Oh.
Oh wow! Didn't see that one coming.
You see this coming? Anyway.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! And look at that! Oh.
This is how it should always be, Alex. Oh, hi.
That was you, not me, man.
Right. That's all right.
Well, we've completely lost control, so I feel like maybe we should call this episode a night.
If Danielle was here, she'd be yelling at us so hardcore. Just like
we're very professional, guys.
We're very professional.
We're on a tight ship here. No craziness. We don't allow it.
I guess that's it then. Anybody else?
I don't have anything else. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, guys. We really appreciate you being here and going over all this content with us this week. It's been a crazy week, and I'm glad we were able to keep it under 7 billion hours as I anticipated this episode was going to be, because we had so much to talk about. So, Alex, where can people find you?
On Twitter, it should be in the description box. You can find me at real_AlexMech on Twitter, but you can, like I mentioned, follow us on Twitter because I run the Call to Action Podcast Twitter account as well, and I post a lot of GIFs and I post a lot of weird comments here and there and updates and profiles and all that good stuff as well. So definitely give us a follow.
Awesome. And
all
PLD.
What about all your shows?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Totally spaced on that. Like I mentioned, Schmobase is coming in hot here this week, with Jesse White and Ben Bateman here on Wednesday at 9:30 Central. It's going to be a fun time, really debating Schmodown's really awesome, fun questions. And also, you can find me co-hosting Cinema Bias with Video Drew, aka Drew Grant, where we really try to dive into our personal movie biases, you want to be directors, genres, whatever it may be, and really to help expand our movie horizons. We're diving it this week is actually my week. It's my choice. So last week we watched 1988's Vampire's Kiss with Nick Cage, and this week we're diving into 1995's A Little Princess, directed by Alfonso Cuarón. Sorry.
I love that.
I'm not a competitor, dude.
And with the outline too, right?
But it's gonna be a real fun time, and we're gonna be doing diving into a bunch of other movies. Point is, on one week it's a movie that I love that she hasn't seen, and the following week it's the other way around. So kind of help expand our horizon.
There you go.
Very cool. All right, PLD, where can people find you?
I'm Paul _News you on Twitter. You can find me on the Team Action Patreon. I run the Team Action Patreon, so we have some cool stuff happening there. So join Ben and Drew's Patreon whenever you can. Join the Action Army. You can find me on Class Action, show I do on the Action Industries YouTube channel with Richard Eric Jarvie. I have some fun episodes coming up. One dropped today. That was a Ready Player One versus Tron Legacy. Put them up against each other in 5 categories. See what happens. We've got some cool things coming up. Eventually, we're going to have a live show with Ben Bateman guesting. We're going to knock down the top 5 Tony Scott movies. And that's why I'm doing Tony Scott Marathon.
Nice. That's a great marathon you got going.
Should be pretty fun. Of course, you can also find me on PLD Projects. I'm starting to finally get things going. Hopefully, very soon we will be having the Harris dance where I go through the entire Ed Harris. You son of a bitch, I miss you too, man. I miss you too. The Ed Harris, going through all of Ed Harris's movies one by one, making you love him like I do. And just keep an eye on Twitter tonight. I'm maybe deciding to go do a live hangout. Done that a couple times. If people are interested, we'll see. Maybe hang out, just talk about whatever we want to talk about. Keep an eye on my Twitter. I'll send some links out and we'll see what happens. So that's it.
Fun. All right. And you can find me at KelseyKens90 on Twitter and Instagram. Also run the Call to Action Podcast Instagram, so you can interact with me there. TeePublic, we've got merch. Check it out. We also have face masks. So if you really want Call to Action to be across your face as you go grocery shopping, that's a thing. And
Phrasing on that just sounds weird.
I know what I said. Anyway, I also have my own YouTube channel. I haven't been putting content on there recently because I'm still trying to figure out what I would like. So if you guys have suggestions of things you would think I should put on my channel, let me know that as well, because I mostly have been just by myself, and I feel like I'm a better contributor in a conversation as opposed to just talking at people. So if you would be interested in being on my channel and discussing things, also let me know. So just search Kelsey Kirkland and click on my face and subscribe. I appreciate it. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining us this week, and we will see you all next time.
We salute you.
We salute you.